What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the fifth episode
Sounds
of
about
First
right.
Sunday. I don't think it's the fourth. Either way, welcome back to First Sunday Wrestling on the same channel as Whatever We Want podcast. But this is First Sunday Wrestling, which is the First Sunday, the monthly wrestling podcast of all things wrestling that happened within the previous month. And I am, as always, one of your hosts. I go by the name of Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
As nature intended. Whenever I pause to let you do the Super Jazz thing, sometimes you don't say it. So then I keep talking that time, and then you said it. Anyway, I go by the name of Super Jazz or SJJT Jazz, whatever you want, what have you, and the like. And of course, I am joined by.
Oh, y'all know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis, Feo Grande on YouTube, occasionally referred to as Pete on this channel. Yeah, and this is episode 5, good sir, because 3 wasn't enough. So we needed 5.
I was like, what does that have to do with? Oh, because you say I do not remember him doing that. Because that's supposed to be when you said Big E used to do that, like for a minute, right?
His original gimmick at NXT was he would beat your ass so hard that he demanded the ref count to 5 when he pinned you to prove that he was that much more dominant over his opponent. When he came up to the main roster, he kept the theme song that was talking about 5, even though he didn't keep that part of his gimmick. So his theme song would start with like, doom, 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 doom. 3 ain't enough, man, I need 5. Da, 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 da. And New Day's even referenced it a few times with the whole 5 thing. Like, I remember one time they literally mentioned that something happened 5 times, and they started, and Big E's like, 5, 5, 5, and then there's like 5. They're like, what? Like 3 ain't enough? And it's like, oh my god.
I of course I didn't know hardly anything about Big E. In NXT.
Well, this was Big E Langston. Maybe that's why.
Well, I remember Big E Langston.
Get him mixed up with the actual Big E.
He was still Big E Langston when he came up to the main roster the first time. But I remember him being Ziggler's bodyguard when Ziggler was still with AJ.
Yeah.
I don't remember
during that time, well, shortly before that, and when he would come out singles without either one of them, it was still 3 ain't enough for his song back then.
Yeah, I remember that. I still think that to this day how hilarious it is that Big E, when he first started in the company, was a quiet, serious guy, and then you find out like all these years later that with New Day and they actually let him like express himself that he is anything but quiet or serious.
Well, he is a
professional, right?
Also, he's an individual who identifies himself as an introvert. And also, when he first joined WWE, and he's come out and said this, so it's not like I'm putting his business out there because I don't know the man, but he said it in like their specials about him. When he first joined WWE, his idea was, let me be a pro wrestler for 2 or 3 years, you know, experience that lifestyle, and then I'm going to kill myself. His initial plan to himself was, yeah, I'm going to go out here, see what happens, and then I'm just going to kill myself. No one's really going to care, but at least I get to do this. However, eventually he found the New Day, you know, Xavier Woods and Kofi let him, you know, express the happiness. He became more comfortable with being in front of people and just being that fun thing, you know, going out there, having fun with his friends every week, and became more beloved by everybody because he was one of those things where some people who think about killing themselves, they're like, if I die, no one's gonna fucking care.
No, that's the biggest thing. The biggest misconception, I would say, that people are going to do, and that's one of the reasons why they're going to do it, is because they feel that nobody cares. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is something that he has said was a thought that was his driving thing behind going into wrestling. It was, how do I, if I'm going to kill myself, what's a good way to go out? I'll be a pro wrestler first. Try to get some enjoyment out of it for like 2 years. See what happens. Obviously, he's not suicidal now, but that's why when he hurt his neck and it seemed like it damn near cost him his career, it still might have. The love he received from people, he was genuinely surprised that all that support came out. It was like, damn, because he always wondered if he died, if anyone would care, and clearly people would. He's beloved all over.
I didn't think that, like, now that I thought, like, just because he was putting out this certain image that was necessarily him, but it did seem, and they always say in wrestling to an extent, that who you are in wrestling more so than other art forms is like you with the volume kind of turned up, or you in a different way.
If you're going to be a super duper success, that's the way to go.
Right, but I didn't. All I was gonna say was I wouldn't have pegged him as somebody who was thinking that way,
Yeah, because
you never do though either. So
yeah, and all the top people like of all time, like a lot, well not all, but a lot of the like big greats that are universally accepted as great, not necessarily. Man, the guy was really technical. He's one of the best people in the world, but like he's got 5 of us that know this. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your Cenas, your Flairs, your Stone Colds, your Rocks. They all say like that either A, it's them turned up to 11, or B, they weren't that, but with them knowing that was going to be their character, they then took it and made their real life that character so that it would eventually end up being them turned up to 11. Like Stone Cold and Flair, like Flair wasn't kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, I'm rich bitch before he made that character, but especially because of the time he was in, he was like, well damn it, if I'm saying this on TV, fuck it, I'm gonna go to the bar right after. If I'm saying I can go to a bar and buy everything in the bar, I'm gonna do that. And that enhanced people's like perception of him back then, because they're like, oh no, this nigga really like that. He really is just sleeping with all the women and all this stuff. Stone Cold saw that Flair took his character and made that his life, and Stone Cold did the same thing because Flair has always been one of his idols. Cena pretty much took the rap, what little he knew about that stuff. It was like, you know what, I'm gonna build my character around this with the thugonomics, and then once he's like, okay, that ain't really me, I'm gonna go ahead and like obviously he probably has some, and he clearly has some love for rap and whatever, but John Cena ain't no thug from the streets.
Well, yeah, no.
So he knew that, and eventually he turned the character into something else, and then turned that pretty much into himself, but 11, and shit like that. That's just what you gotta do. Fucking Roman now. Part of the reason that makes him better than he was years ago is because he let more of his own personality shine through. Same with The Rock, because people hated Rocky Maivia, and he eventually, with The Rock, he got to talk back, he got to put some more of his own spins to the characters, and there you go. And that's the beauty of being a heel, is you're more allowed to be yourself, because if they boo you, then that's the point.
Speaking of New Day, that's one of the things that made the New Day initially break through before they became one of the most beloved face acts ever, was when they came out as like these faces, but they came off kind of corny and fake and all this shit.
It was the Bo Dallas. They went
heel. They told everybody like, well, okay, you don't like us, F y'all. And then all of a sudden everybody started liking them. It's so funny because wrestling fans, we are fickle as shit. And then we end up not liking you because we're supposed to like you. And I'm including myself, but a lot of times we end up not like you because we're supposed to like you and how you come off. But then when you tell us we ain't shit, now we like you because you got some edge, and then you can channel that into some face shit.
See, my thing is not necessarily that you have to be a heel to be likable. I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to say that
I'm kind of being facetious.
There are some times where someone can tell you their face, or you can be told that this is a face, and you buy right into it. Like, people bought into fucking Hogan, like, instantly.
Yeah.
People bought it. Cena did have the heel thugonomics thing, but Cena was also around for like 20 fucking years, and the majority of that was not thugonomic Cena. So a lot of people's introduction to Cena was, Superman Cena. And
Cena did start off as a heel too, though.
Did he? With the ruthless aggression thing, where everyone's like raising his hand and shit.
When he initially was rapping, he was like,
that's what I said. Yeah, the thugonomics was heel. That's why I said like he didn't start. He wasn't.
But you say he was around for so long that a lot of people don't remember
people's introduction to him. He was Superman Cena a lot more than he was Dr. Thugonomics. It's just your attitude era people who only like clap when people say shit or fuck love Thugonomics Cena, and your average WWE fan nowadays like normal Cena because that's the target demographic.
That's a good point. That's like the amount of people that like remember Dr. Isaac Yankem, or the amount of people that actually knew Kane. Like, yeah. Right. But no, going back to, I guess, like, so we started talking about it, it's not in the notes, but I would definitely say, and it goes without saying, get well soon, Big E, man.
Definitely.
To have something like that happen, just no matter how big of a name you are on the card, to have something like that happen is terrible. I'm not gonna do like a lot of motherfuckers did on social media, which I fucking goddamn hate. But I'm not gonna sit up here and attack Ridge Holland. I'm not gonna do that shit. Cause that's one thing I did hate. Me and my brother talked about that shit for a second. Was right after it happened, people went to Ridge Holland's last post, and all people like his post had on Instagram had nothing to do with Big E or anything. He hadn't even posted in a few days leading up to the incident that happened with the shit. But all people on his fucking Instagram, you should quit. You're terrible. How could you? It's like, what are we fucking doing?
Oh, yeah, but it didn't help that Vince rewarded him for doing it. He pushed him even harder, but then again, Vince got fired, blah, 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 racist, blah, 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 we all know. Bottom line is, that didn't help.
What I'm talking about initially after it happened, because when stuff happens in wrestling, obviously, and there's no malicious intent by it, and especially if, at least publicly, the person who it happened to is seemingly not upset, publicly at least, then we don't need to be upset on someone else's behalf, is what I'm getting at.
Well, yeah, but
and everybody was just
2022. That's just what people do. It's not right, no. But
that's why. So I'm not gonna sit up here and shit on Ridge Holland for that shit. But I am gonna say
people like being and I am agreeing with you that they didn't need to shit on him that hard. But he also seemed very unremorseful about it. And I don't know enough about the dude himself because I was barely watching WWE at that time, so I can't say anything about the dude. I don't know shit about Ridge Holland. I had forgotten his name, even. I just remembered that Big E got injured by some dude. And then he said Ridge Holland, and I was like, the guy with Butch? What did he do?
Yeah.
And I hate, because that's the thing. I immediately stopped caring about Ridge Holland because I was just pissed at what they did to Pete Dunne with this whole Butch shit.
But yeah, well, basically, suffice to say, we both say get well soon, Big E, and we hate when shit like this happens. We hate when actual real shit happens in wrestling.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But no, what do you think of? I mean, again, to let everybody know, people behind the curtain, just a tad that we always do is we keep up with wrestling as a whole to an extent, but we mainly watch AEW. So that being said, we keep up with WWE and other shit, but we're not watching WWE as much as AEW on the regular and shit like that. As most people, or not most, but a lot of people in our age group are doing in 2022.
Well, yeah, because AEW is a better product. But
no. So what I was gonna say was, since we're going down that road, what do you think of the Brawling Brutes? You have no idea what the Brawling Brutes are.
Who's the Brawling Brutes?
I can tell by the way you paused. I was like, you already know that. I used the name on purpose to see if you even knew what the fuck I was talking about. Brawling Brutes is the official name of the 3-person team of Sheamus, Butch, and Ridge Holland.
Sheamus. It's Sheamus.
Because you know that you know the 3 of them were a team, yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that was their name. Sheamus
That's
is
the official name.
Sheamus is Sheamus. He's done. Sheamus is just kind of one of those people like The Miz or somebody else around that tier where they technically are champion level, but they still get shoved to the mid card all the time. Like, they've proven that they're champion level because they fucking won the championship multiple times, each of them.
Both of them guys that you named just now, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But they often get used for very much non-championship related things. And it actually is an apt comparison to say that because Miz, for all the mid-card shit they shove him with and make him the guy to fight the celebrity every year, he's a guy who, whether people like it or not, has a title defense against John fucking Cena at WrestleMania. That is something on his resume that you can't take from him. Sheamus has a title defense. I think he said it recently this week on his record against Roman Reigns at a big event or two. He's like, so.
And Triple H. Shit, Sheamus and Triple H.
Yeah. Miz beat fucking somebody else for another title. But the bottom line is he's like, so they have that thing on their resume that whether you want to admit it or not, they've proven they can be at the top level and do that. However, they just get shoved to mid-card stuff. But as far as I'm concerned, Sheamus is Sheamus. He's established. He can do whatever the fuck he wants right now. And if they want to remind you who he is, they can always flip that switch. So Sheamus being part of having some goons, whatever. Ridge Holland, I literally forgot the man's name, as I just mentioned. And Butch, why? When Pete Dunne was Pete Dunne. I like the fact that what I will say is if they took the character Butch and had anybody other than Pete Dunne playing him, I probably would have liked him more. Nothing against Pete Dunne's portrayal of him. It's just you took this nigga that was a champion for like 3 or 4 years and removed all his past history for something as lame as just Butch. I'm like, no, Pete Dunne had that whole thing, accomplishment.
The bruiserweight shit, and like he was making huge strides on like NXT UK, which I think NXT UK they got rid of too. I think actually,
which is crazy because two of their champions. Deal. Yeah, that's the thing. They have 2 of their champions on the normal roster, and they just use them to just job to people. But the UK championship, you want to talk about championships mattering, and I'll be honest. I'm not gonna be like I watched it because it was pure wrestling, anything like that. No, but I can say when you talk about making sure a championship feels like it fucking matters, Pete Dunne had that shit for 2 years after fucking winning it, only to lose it to Walter, who had it for 4 years or some shit. And it's like, those are some scary motherfuckers if they had those championships that long. And now you got fucking jobber-ass Gunther and jobber-ass Butch.
They brought both of them up, changed their names, and basically pretended like what they did beforehand never happened.
Exactly. And that's what pisses me off about that group.
From a business standpoint, I can kind of wrap my head around changing names. WWE been doing that shit forever. From a business standpoint, I can wrap my head around it. What I don't understand is why wait until the person has accomplished so much under one name
exactly
to then change the name. Like, why didn't maybe they didn't know when Walter came in that he was going to be as big a deal as Walter. I don't know. But why not give him a new name, however short into his run as Walter, call him Gunther?
Because like, Triple H was still in charge of him back then.
But I'm saying, why did we wait so long to say, hey, you're Katana Chance, you're Alba Fire, you're Raquel Rodriguez, you're Gunther, you're Butch. Like, why we wait so long before they accomplish so much under these names to then say, oh, by the way, you know what? Now you're Butch. It's like, but so does that mean Pete Dunne never existed? Because
okay.
Because don't get me wrong. Like, for instance, go back to what I said. Dr. Isaac Yankem DDS, it's okay to pretend like he never fucking happened because he didn't really do much and was kind of shit. And then we can throw Kane out there and be like, oh shit, Kane did all this shit, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. But if Kane had accomplished a whole assload of shit as Dr. Isaac Yankem, and then we threw Kane out there, let's say he did more as Kane, but he did a lot as Dr. Yankem or whatever, why wait until they have a lot of this shit and a lot of headway in 4-star, damn near 5-star, if not 5-star matches, and then say that never happened? That's the thing I don't understand. I get changing the name. They changed the name because Fury's name is like Austin some shit.
I heard they gave him his name back, by the way.
Who?
Austin. I heard he got his first name back. Him and Matt Riddle. My roommate was telling me this week people started getting their first names back.
Matt Riddle I knew about. Theory I didn't. But I get changing it because it's like
no.
Casey Catton. No, listen to what I'm saying. Casey Catanzaro is her real name. Okay. Gonzalez, I think her name is somebody Gonzalez. Shit like that. Okay, cool. Like, I think Pete Dunne's name is like Peter something. So it's like they're thinking from a business mindset. So I can wrap my head around to an extent. Okay, if they go somewhere else, we put the time into it. We don't. Okay.
Well, don't let them take the name with them. Don't pull an Adam Cole and let him take his entire fucking gimmick, and you don't get anything out of that.
He was using that name, he just like CM Punk. He was using
they were using it before they came in. Then don't use it when they come in. Change it when they get here.
But that's what I just said. I don't understand. Like, I get that. I just don't understand letting them build up somewhat of like a catalog, a legacy, a profile, and then changing it. I don't understand that. I don't understand, because that'd be like if I'm Jazz and then I come in and then you change my name to like Thompson, but it's like, why did you let Jazz build up all of this equity as Jazz for like 4 years and then just be like, no, you're Thompson now, that never happened. If maybe like I said, maybe you don't know you got something with me. Okay, cool. Okay, after like 6 months to a year, you like, oh, he might actually be something. So then make me something that is soon. Don't wait till I got 5 years of fucking shit under my belt and then be like, that never happened. That's the part I don't get. Because Walter had, which, take it with a grain of salt, Meltzer, but you can at least use his star rating as some ballpark.
Well, no one else is giving out stars, so.
But I was gonna say Walter had that match that I still haven't seen, but that match with Ilya Dragunov that was supposed to be like a fucking 5-star match. A lot of people
a lot of his big matches have been like pure wrestling incarnate.
4-star,
for the pinky outs out there, they're like jizzing their pants whenever Walter has a title defense. And
now
that was
supposed to act like that never happened.
Yep.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like Rocky Maivia didn't have a fucking 5-star match before he became The Rock. Or like a 4-star plus.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
no, I agree.
That's the shit I don't understand. Like, that's just like, now, was it possible that Gunther will have a 5-star or a 4-star plus match? Of course it is. Is it possible that Pete Dunne will have a 4-star plus 5-star match? Of course. But why? That's just the shit I could never wrap my head around. I can understand from a business standpoint, we changed the name because we don't want you to take the likeness that we used. Okay.
Well, change it when you get here.
Honestly, yeah. Or
and
not too
fine.
long after.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I have no problem with the concept of name changes. Only when they're stupid in the context of either A, it's stupid to erase their history of the shit they did, or 2, it's stupid because it's something like it just sounds stupid. Like, I don't know. Some names just sound dumber when they went ahead and simplified them.
To be fair, the Viking Experience did not bother me as much as it bothered the entire wrestling world.
It's stupid.
That was funny though. That was funny.
Stupid name.
It was dumb.
It was stupid enough for Vince to actually realize it was a dumb name change. And so he's like, fine, they'll be the Viking Raiders and their finisher will be the Viking Experience.
Because, which is actually not a bad finisher name.
Yeah.
But no, because it was like they were War Raiders. And again,
I don't know why they would change War Raiders. I mean, you're literally on a show that was called Raw is War. You don't have a problem with the word war.
No, they changed their name because I think they were like War Raiders or like the something Raiders or the War something or
they
whatever.
They were War Raiders.
On the Indies, yeah.
And they were War Raiders in NXT.
Right, but I mean, I think that they were like that on the Indies, so it was another thing of we're bringing up to main roster. We don't want you using this before that you created, and it's just like, why did we wait this long?
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, again, I'm agreeing with you that it was a stupid decision.
Right. No, I know you are. I don't understand. Like, I know you agree. I don't understand. Like I said, go change the name. Okay. Why wait until they have so much of like a semi-legacy and all this equity and all this shit and then say that never happened?
Yeah, you didn't let Finn Balor do all his NXT shit as Prince Devitt, and then when he comes to main roster go, oh, it's Finn Balor. No, he came in, he's like, in WWE, I'm gonna call myself Finn Balor. Same thing with Kevin Steen. You didn't call him Kevin Steen for his whole NXT run.
Right. We didn't say, yeah, you're Tyler Black. No, he was instantly Seth Rollins. Like, they didn't do that shit.
Meanwhile, Samoa Joe was like, y'all ain't ever changing my fucking name. And they're like, yeah, you right. And so he got to stay, and so did AJ Styles. So again, it's like, so some people you do let them keep their name that they had in other companies that weren't even indies. It was like direct competition at one point, not much of one, but you know what? We still say the Cubs and Cardinals are always, in competition. So the TNA can be competition to WWE.
They were the only big competition, if there's such thing as big competition.
That was so rude. Anyway.
AJ Styles, I get that though, because AJ Styles had built up again.
Oh yeah, but that's the idea is if they build up a reputation, let them fucking keep their reputation. Doesn't matter if they did it at another company or not. That's my say. And clearly they know that enough because they let AJ Styles and Samoa Joe stay AJ Styles and Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Or Chris Jericho.
Yeah, and that was back in the day. Because he was making, like, a lot of people knew who Jericho was. Like, we were not old enough to necessarily know anyway. But a lot of people knew who Jericho was before he even got in the company because of the time he had put in overseas in Japan and like on the Indies and I think even a little bit in Canada and all this shit.
Also,
so
he came, also ECW and
ECW,
WCW.
Right, and WCW definitely. So when he came, he had like a big name behind him under the name of Jericho, right? So I mean, yeah, that's the only thing I don't understand with that. But like I said, I'm not gonna be one of the people where I was like, why change the name? I get changing the name because when you have a company and you put time into it, and they take they take your effort. I get that, but I don't understand doing it afterwards. But anyway, speaking of people being brought up from NXT, we got a lot of people coming back and being brought up and whatnot, and it appears that within this last month, 2 months, we can no longer deny that even whether the in-ring product, the on-camera product is the same or not, based off the people coming back, we cannot deny that the Triple H era has obviously been here and is here.
Nigga, DX runs WWE now. He even got Shawn in on the executive branch now. I hear that there's rumors that part of the reason the Guns Club did what they did is because Billy's like, I'm gonna just go hang with my boys in the other company because I can run shit over there. Because the Clique has always been close as the Clique, regardless of how big they are. I know that technically Billy Gunn and Road Dogg aren't the Clique because, that was Sean, Kevin, and Hunter, or Kevin and Paul and Scott. I get that. However, the other DX dudes are clearly right there with the whatever they do anything. Like Hunter and Sean make sure bring make Road Dogg a trainer, make Billy's do something, keep them with us. We bring up our boys with us, and they always have. But yeah, so it's that the Triple H era has begun. He immediately started bringing back people, like you said. And he's like, no, this is Karrion Kross. He has his whole Herald lady in Scarlet. Fuck that bondage.
With their image and their names. Yeah.
Because the original Karrion Kross gimmick was an awesome thing. I fucking loved it. He had this random bitch show up. Because, again, it's one of those things where the entrance plays a huge part into selling the character as a scary motherfucker.
The two of them understood that. Kross and Scarlett, the two of them knew that.
Yeah, it sells the guy as a scary motherfucker to have this random bitch just show up like, the end is here, and just start summoning smoke and shit. Fall and pray. It's like, I don't want to fight this.
Black and white and shit.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to fight this. Well, I don't want to fight this at all. If you were to be in a company, let's say you were in that universe, as a up-and-coming wrestler, you get a shot tonight against a mystery opponent, and you're standing in the ring like, this is my debut. Oh, the end is here. What the fuck? Just, the end. Fall and pray. Wait, I don't want to fall and pray. Fall and pray. And he just shows up behind him while everyone is back. Fall and pray. No. Get me away from this. Get me away from this. This is not what I signed up for. Just like if you hear the fucking bell when fucking Taker comes out. Obviously, Taker's a better wrestler than Kross and all this shit. I'm not saying Kross is Taker, but
it's like Taker, yeah. No, the image and the way his interest is very Takerish. What was I gonna say? But it's like, again, the Triple H era, we can say, regardless of in-ring product and all that shit, we are on camera, we can say he's here because he brought Karrion back, and he didn't do what the initial thing they did, which is take away Scarlett and then give him some random gear that he never had.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said they gave him his original gimmick. That's why I went into that whole diatribe.
Because the first time they brought him back, the first time they brought him up, like they did, which again, he even went online and said, like, bro, what is this helmet bullshit y'all put me in? He even said that shit. So yeah. But yeah, man, what we got? We got Dexter Lumis back, and he's hooking back up with Indy Hartwell.
Seems to hate what they're doing.
Oh yeah,
them.
well, I
you probably hate him too, but I haven't seen you speak out against it, so that's the only reason I said it.
I only know a little bit about Lumis here and there. Well, from what I've seen, I like it, but I only know a little bit about him here and there. Just from what I've seen. From what I've seen, it looks fun. It's supposed to be like a serial killer as a wrestler, but they play it as a joke, right?
It was more of a joke at NXT, and even then, not really. Dude literally would kidnap people and just be like, I'm gonna kidnap you, and you can't do shit about it. But it was seen more as a joke, primarily because of the people he was attacking back then, and I guess him attacking Miz now. I guess you could also say it's still a joke because of what we were talking about earlier with Miz's status in the company. But what they're doing now, they are treating it like a serious thing. Motherfucker, they waited like 3 weeks to actually say, like, this nigga's name is Dexter Lumis. They're like, if you know, you know.
He was just
they had the
up.
whole security guards and stuff. Like, I'm like, I actually like the idea of the slowly, like, okay, you clearly see he's trying to do some shit and security's having a hard time dealing with them. They're trying their best not to address it for people who don't watch NXT, because the average WWE fan probably doesn't. So they don't need to be like, oh, that's Dexter Lumis. At first they're like, wait, is that who? And it's one of those like, if you know, you know type deals. But then eventually they're like, yeah, that is Dexter Lumis. Holy shit, what's he doing here on main roster? And they're working their way up. But I saw like Ibn and a bunch of other people just like, shit or get off the pot already. I'm like, damn, give it a chance. Y'all be the first person to say give it a chance when it's one of the guys y'all like. Oh no, this happened. Give it a chance, guys. Let the story breathe. I'm not saying Ibn in this particular sense. He may just be impatient for long stories in general. I don't know. I can't speak for the man. So if he doesn't like long stories, that's his prerogative, and I get it. However, I'm fine with this because I've also been one of the people that's like, I don't need every wrestler I like to be main event of a pay-per-view and win the championship, like the majority of wrestling internet now. You know what I mean? The internet wrestling community, they're like, oh, this wrestler clearly got no respect from the company because they never put the title belt on him. Neither did these 8 other wrestlers. But the second all 8 of them get that belt, man, what happened to the title being treated with prestige? There's a new champion every week. Nigga, you wanted all 8 of your people to be champion. And again, that's not directed at him, that's directed at internet wrestling Twitter.
Again, like I said, wrestling fans, but wrestling lives on the internet, but the wrestling corners of the internet are so just fucked up. They're so fucked up, like with the shit that they say and the stuff that we talk about and all that. It's just like sometimes it makes you wonder, like, how the wrestlers know what bullshit is bullshit to sift through and what is actually constructive criticism. It makes you wonder sometimes how they know, like, what's what. But no, what I've seen of Dexter Lumis, I like. I haven't seen, like I said, a whole lot. But from what I've seen, I like it. What I heard, I like it. Like I said, so we getting indexes back, like Indy Hartwell. People are speculating that Indy Hartwell is about to get called up soon because of Lumis, which would make sense. Mm-hmm. We got, this Rebel Heart, like that fucking shit played. Gargano fucking comes back and does his thing. So
if Karrion Kross didn't tell you this is Hunter's show now, the fact that Johnny Gargano came back, it's like, okay, yeah, this is Hunter. Hunter's like, this.
Bruh,
I told you.
If we get main roster eventually, I understand they got to build up profiles and shit takes time. But if we get main roster like Ciampa Gargano, could you imagine? Because that was main roster level shit when they did it at NXT.
Yeah, but
so they do that shit now. Oh my god.
Yeah, but I think they also have earned rights to fight like other people than just each other again for another 5 matches. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, it was great, but also main roster isn't really the fuck you Ciampa kind of crowd.
No, that's true. NXT is more along the line of an AEW type of crowd or whatever, where it is more of a quote unquote smarky type crowd. It's more of like a people who like are in the know, keep up with this shit, follow wrestling like too close type of thing, you know. So no, you're right. Yeah, main roster wouldn't necessarily just fuck you, Ciampa, fuck you, Ciampa. Now, main roster would be no music, boo the fuck out of them, but they wouldn't just chant "fuck you, Ciampa" the whole match. No,
his theme music wouldn't be the crowd yelling "fuck you, Ciampa" on the way to the ring.
That's what I was saying. That wouldn't necessarily happen. But no, Dakota Kai getting brought back with Bayley making her like triumphant return, and they bring up Io Shirai with a name change.
Yep. A stupid one at that.
Still got some Vince in them, so I'll say that.
Yeah, that was a stupid decision. The Io
Shirai was making headway as Io Shirai.
Yeah.
Now she's Io Sky, and it's Io, not I-O, but I-Y-O. I don't get it, but whatever. Hey, she's brought up to the main roster, which should have happened a long goddamn time. I feel
like the average WWE fan is too stupid to pronounce normal Japanese.
Oh, like we would have said Io or some shit.
Yeah. Oh, that's Io Shirai. Oh, that's that girl Io Shirai. I like her. She goes out here and does this shit.
What's so funny is whether we pronounce it wrong or not, everybody said Ryu, and then you told us it was Ryu, and we said, "Oh shit, really? Okay." And now the motherfucker's name is Ryu. If we pronounce it wrong,
there's still niggas out there that will insist that it's Ryu. Trust me.
But you get what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying there's fucking FGC motherfuckers that still say Ryu. Like, no, that's my boy Ryu. Like, they will insist it's Ryu. It's been public knowledge that it's Ryu for like ages now, like you said. But there are niggas that are like, nah, that's Ryu. And it's not even like a Raiden situation where, you know, yeah, Metal Gear Solid, that dude is Raiden. Fucking KOF, that dude is Raiden. MK, this is Raiden, nigga. Like, that's him. I don't care. Because they're like, well, it was spelled Rayden initially, but then eventually they decided to change the spelling of Raiden's name to Raiden and still call him Raiden in the games. MK purposely mispronounces Raiden because, damn it, that's what we're calling him. We'll spell it right, but we're still gonna pronounce it wrong. And I think that's hilarious.
Well, the way what I'm saying is like, and I know you're not disagreeing with me. I'm just saying what I mean is like, in universe, whatever the universe is, if you tell somebody this is how you pronounce this, regardless of spelling, then okay, cool. They had to change the name to like phonetically hold us by the hand.
I agree.
That's why I say I know you're not disagreeing with me. I know you're not.
And they can still call her Io if they want to be ignorant enough.
Because it does look a little Io-ish, yeah. But yeah, maybe they like felt like
Io Sky, yeah.
Maybe they felt they had to hold us by the hand. That's true. But Bayley didn't obviously come into her own during the lockdown bubble era of wrestling, and definitely is in ring and charisma wise, she always had it, but now she's realized it. So Bayley having a kind of stable with two other badass women in Dakota Kai and then Io Sky.
Only for them to lose instantly.
But I was gonna say, yeah, that's dope shit. But no, you're right. Then they lost the belts, which made no sense because of all the.
Yeah, why bring them back as a team if you're just gonna make them lose instantly? Like, because you wanted to push something else.
Well, I was gonna say, and then to two women whose names don't hold as much weight as these two women do. No, that's a good point. I was gonna say it's nice that Bayley got a stable with two dope women or whatever, but then no, you're right. Then why would they do that? Why would they bring them back at SummerSlam with like, hey guys, Dakota Kai's back. Hey guys, Io is on the main roster. Look at this. Oh shit, Bayley returned. Oh damn, we're all three together, and then they lose. The women's tag belts don't mean shit.
Nope.
And they never have. Oh man. And again, big bro, Ibn, me and him were talking, and the only two women's like actual teams that came through WWE since they didn't have the damn tag belts were the Iconics and Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Because everybody else was like some tacked on team. The only closest thing to a team besides that, like actual felt like a team besides that, was Sasha Banks and Bayley, if you want to count them.
I do. I mean, they were the first champions, and also they were part of that whole four horsewomen. I'll put it in quotes for people who had their own definition of what the four horsewomen is.
Not the MMA four horsewomen,
but yeah,
NXT four horsewomen. Yeah.
But yeah, all four of them. They are like singles competitors, but because they have that whole connection, you can always pair any of the two of them together and they're a credible tag team because they have some kind of bond of we them.
Yeah.
We as
and
them.
Then I always say the fifth horsewoman to an extent because she wasn't part of the four horsewomen, but might as well be as Alexa Bliss. Okay. But yeah, man, like when the Iconics had the belts and they came into their own, it actually was like, okay, we got a legit team. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville going after it because it was a team. Everything else is just thrown together stuff. Like Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH, Alexa Bliss and Asuka. Like, come on, y'all. I love all four women that are named as like individuals, but y'all ain't no damn team. Like, come on.
I agree.
Hit Row, obviously, without Swerve, but Hit Row came back. Like, ooh. I mean, it's just, and I know you agree with me on when I say they shouldn't have got released in the first place.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll do something with them. They don't have, like, the big, leaders.
They don't have the charisma.
But maybe somebody else will realize that they got charisma and be able to do something now.
Yeah, they don't have the guy that made people like Hit Row in the first place. And right. That's nothing against those other wrestlers, but I didn't hear I didn't hear shit about either one of them when they were Hit Row. It was Hit Row. Who's them? Oh, that's Isaiah Swerve Scott's group. Ah, okay.
Honestly, yeah. I heard about Isaiah Swerve Scott before I heard about Hit Row.
Same. And then when Hit Row came around, it was like, this is the group of people so Isaiah Swerve Scott can have his own little goon squad. All right. What do? Well, they're black, so let's do something with hip hop related. They're a rap group. All right.
But it was authentic. To be fair, it was authentic. It wasn't just we're going to do this because we should do it. No, it was.
I mean, fair enough, but nonetheless, that's generally what they do when they put a black tag team together. Is they emphasize some part of one of the black stereotypes, and stereotypes exist for a reason. So I'm not saying that they don't.
I mean, rest in peace, Shad Gaspard, but Crime Time is a perfect example.
Crime Time, Prime Time.
Part-time players, yeah.
Street Profits. They don't even like
Street Profits. First of all, the name. Anyway.
Yeah, Street Profits. That's just what they do. They do. I'm not faulting or praising it. Merely stating fact.
It's definitely a fact. It's definitely
either that or they're black nationalists. The fucking.
You're talking about nation and domination.
Yeah.
Which was like obviously what's that shit, the Nation of Islam. Obviously a take on that shit. But yeah, man, Hit Row, if they actually do something with them, that'll be cool. Obviously that'd be cool to do something with them. But
New Day was creatures before they decided to be unicorns and shit. They were black creatures.
Before they actually had an identity outside of a black
that's why their hit song is still a fucking church choir.
Yeah.
They dropped the preacher gimmick almost instantly. But
because
kept
the
the theme
fans
song.
shitted on it, and rightfully so.
And kept the theme song.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you're right. That's so true. And then, I don't know if do you remember the vignettes that they had?
That's why I'm saying they were preachers.
Before, what do you say? Before I was with y'all, I used to be smart. Now I'm smarter. Before I joined up, I used to fly high. Now I fly higher. Before I was strong. Now I'm stronger. Like, yeah.
Power, positivity.
Now they over here they was wearing like shirt and ties and slacks and had a choir and shit. Yeah, that was some corny shit. Like I'm with y'all, but that was some corny shit.
They had the black choir. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the stereotypes exist for a reason. We can't say we've never been to a church that had a choir acting like that and a bombastic preacher that would say shit of that same venue. Before I got with Jesus, I was smart, but now I'm smarter. I could fly, now I fly higher. I'm stronger than before. And hell, Big E even mentioned part of that was because he's the son of a pastor. And he harnessed what he knew from growing up for that speaking out like style of character to him. So again, these things exist for a reason. Do I feel like, you know, who knows what everybody's past is, but could Crime Time have at one time, is there a slight possibility that in their past at least one of them might have been involved in some criminal activity? There's a chance. And they could have taken from that and been like, you know what, we gangsters. If rappers can say they gangsters and talk about all the people they shot on the street, whether they did or not, we can be wrestler characters that say that.
I'll put it like this: whether they were involved in criminal activity or not, they may have known someone who was.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so, like I said, the stereotypes exist for a reason. I'm not saying everybody falls into said stereotypes. At the same time, every black team falls into some black stereotype.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. But no, like, obviously, all of the people who I just named as far as returning and then being brought up easily could have been something before that shit got deaded. And Hit Row easily could have been something with Swerve. So hopefully they could find some type of identity and be something without him.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully. No, but I do agree with you that, like, obviously the main thing about it is gone. And they have to, like, find their way without him because he has found success, you know, without Hit Row. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they can find success without Swerve. I'll give you that. The Triple H era as a whole, to be fair, I have not really been watching Raw, like I said, or SmackDown. I've just been keeping up with it to an extent. But the Triple H era as a whole, from what I've been hearing, there are definitely, like, changes. Like, he's you know, people say wrestler now instead of just sports entertainer.
Yeah.
You can say title or belt at times and not have to just straight call it a championship. Of course, there's the promo that everybody was talking about between fuck is his name, Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, you just said you can say wrestler now.
Right. Well, right. When McIntyre and Owens, like, went off and everybody was like, holy shit, is WWE good? Wait a minute. Are they actually, like, letting them have promos that are actually kind of worth something? Hold on. So
let's not act like it's been 20 years without a good fucking promo.
I agree. I agree. Love, I'm just saying, like, because also, if I'm the kind of guy, now granted, I didn't watch it in the moment. My brother called me up and was like, bruh, turn on wrestling right now. They're giving a good ass promo. But I'm the kind of dude that I saw the McIntyre Owens promo. And I thought it was really good. I think it was, oh my God. Like, a lot of people, it wasn't oh my God. I did think it was really goddamn good. It wasn't oh my God. So, but I did think it was good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, this is the best promo since the pipe bomb. No.
Were people saying that, or are you just exaggerating?
I'm just exaggerating, but people act like oh, there's been nothing good on WWE at all in the past since the Attitude Era, and now Triple H is gonna bring that back. And I'm like, that's not true. That's not true. There's been good spots. Obviously, it hasn't been fantastic. We just mentioned like 80 times we don't really watch it like that. But to act like Triple H is the savior of wrestling.
People were acting like that the second they heard he was taking over, and I kept saying, and I still say, like I said, now we can see, him staking his claim.
It'll be better than it was under Vince. Will it take down AEW? I don't know.
Well, I think it's the other way around. Like, obviously, AEW is making a claim and whatnot, but WWE's been here so long, which is why it got lax, that you got 3 years versus 40-something years. It's really,
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, I don't think the people who jumped ship from WWE to watch AEW are going to jump ship back just because Triple H is in charge. AEW has better quality to its matches.
Yeah, by far. Especially on a show as a whole, you have a better chance of seeing a series of good matches as opposed to the possibility of one.
Also, we need some time with Triple H in charge for realsies where he can phase out all the Vince stuff and then make it all entirely his show.
Well, that's I've said. I keep saying on these podcast episodes we do, and I just keep saying in general, 3 months is enough time, which makes sense. That's enough time for you to show, hey, I'm here. Okay, cool.
All right, so we're making an evaluation on his era now?
I mean, I wasn't necessarily doing that. All I was going to say was, you can if you want to.
Well, you said 3 months is enough time.
You gotta let me finish what I'm saying. What I'm saying is 3 months is enough time to obviously say, hey, I'm here, which he's done. I've just been saying that it's going to take more than 3 months to, quote unquote, clean up what has been a problem within 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
No shit, if the last 15 years or so, even a year, it's going to take more than 3 fucking months for Triple H to so-called clean this shit up. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. And then go.
That wasn't directed at you. It wasn't directed at you.
Yeah, I agree.
That was just directed as the in general, because the way that the second Triple H took over and with the one Raw under him, everybody's like, oh God, Triple H. And I have been saying, and I still say, it's gonna take more than 3 fucking months.
By the way, there's rumors that the boy is coming back. My dude.
You talk about Strowman?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's rumors that he's coming back. Yeah.
Which, good. He didn't. You don't talk about motherfuckers that didn't need to be fired. That made no sense to me.
That made no sense. You talk about somebody who at one point they could have, as they say, strapped a rocket to his back. They could have done that with him.
His most popular moment was when he was beating the shit out of Roman Reigns. The dude was on top of the world for beating the shit out of Roman. So yes, he's up there. My dude. Yeah, look at him. Look at that motherfucker. You gonna tell me that ain't a star? You gonna tell me people shouldn't fear that man? He's fucking terrifying. It's awesome.
But yeah, man.
Bill here controlling his narrative, but someone pointed out.
I made that joke. I was like, I guess he couldn't control his narrative. I made that joke.
I think he did. I think he controlled it well enough. He was the only person I heard anybody say anything positive about from that whole company. I've heard a lot of terrible things about control your narrative, but I was like, but from what I've heard, people were like, but at least Braun was cool.
I mean, now, if he comes back, is this kind of, obviously it's not to the same extent, because we can talk about the same extent, so I'm not saying that, but is this kind of like a Cody Rhodes thing, where you leave, you go start another company, you keep your name up there, if not make your profile bigger, and then go right back to the people that said, fuck you?
No. And I'll tell you why.
I said, obviously it's not to the same extent, but is it kind of like it?
Sure, never mind. Boo. Don't come back, Braun. You'd be doing the same thing Cody did. Never mind. I can't be happy that Braun's coming back because I think it's the same as Cody. No, because if you're going to judge me saying, like, call me a fucking hypocrite because I'm happy that Braun's coming back, I'm like, you know what? Right. I don't like being a hypocrite, so I'm not going to say that.
I'm not calling you a hypocrite. I'm making conversation.
Yeah, like, because the Cody, I felt
I'm happy he's coming back.
I felt like the Cody thing was different because, like, Control Your Narrative never got out of a fucking bar. Like,
This is true.
AEW took people from New Japan, took people from so-and-so. Cody was just literally out here smashing fucking Triple H symbology, setting fucking effigies of Vince aflame and shit, talking about fuck the WWE. And then he's like, and he was the vice president of the company and getting success with said company that he built off of fuck WWE and everybody who works there. And then goes, actually, fuck y'all. I'm going over to WWE. This place is a sinker. This place is going down. I'm going to WWE. And he just abandoned everybody that he made leave their companies for this whole fuck WWE company.
No,
that's
you're right.
That's different.
The biggest difference, because obviously, like I said, it's not to the same extent whether it was similar or not. But no, you're right. The biggest difference is you never really heard Control Your Narrative taking shots at WWE, saying fuck WWE.
I mean, they kind of did because that's the whole point of Control Your Narrative. Y'all didn't treat us right, so we're going to treat ourselves right. At the same time, the people in Control Your Narrative all got fired from WWE. Cody kind of convinced a lot of those elite people to willingly leave the companies they were working with.
This is true.
That's the thing. Cody got fired, but but he convinced the elite to leave New Japan Pro willingly to come and join him in this anti-WWE company, only to say, fuck y'all, I'm going back to WWE.
He was the main one that was like with Tony Khan behind the scenes.
Exactly. He was the vice president.
Yeah. He was going around, with his bleach blonde hair, wearing his suits and his neck tattoo, like looking like a straight businessman, like making all these moves. Yeah, he was doing his
Geese Howard shit.
I don't even know what it is, but okay.
If you know, you know.
And no, you're right. So no, you're right. It's very different. It's very different from Cody. Like, you could make the similarity that you went, started a new company, and then came back, but it's very different from Cody. You're right about that.
Also, Control Your Narrative seems more like EC3's idea than it was Braun's.
Now, see, that's something that I never knew there was like a differentiation or distinguish like between who seemed more like than.
What always, I guess, I won't say that as if it's fact. But that's how it was always presented to me, was like EC3 was like, hey, Braun, I got an idea. Can you join me in this thing? Because they're friends IRL. And it was more EC3 being like, because EC3 kind of has never, like WWE just never believed in that dude. They didn't believe in him when he was Derek Bateman. TNA, he went to TNA, became a star over there with the whole EC3, Ethan Carter III thing.
Yeah.
And then came back to WWE. They called him EC3 and like had him jobbing within a week.
Yeah, and they did the whole epic entrance thing and all that shit, but then they made him not really be worth shit. Yeah,
exactly. So in that regard, I could see him being a lot more jaded about it and talking about trying to control his own narrative because he's been dicked over by the biggest company in the world twice and made to look like he ate shit and no one believed in him. And he's like, no, I'll show you. I'll build my shit from the ground up. Hey, Braun, they fired you unjustifiably. Hey, Karrion, they fired you unjustifiably. Let's control our own narrative because we don't want people thinking we suck. Come work with me on this. And then eventually, theoretically, they both just go back to WWE.
They, from what I heard to Control Your Narrative, like, I forgot what everything was but I was watching a video where somebody was like breaking down the guidelines or the rules of their matches and stuff, and it seemed like they were doing. I hate to call it this, but I'm gonna be honest. They were doing some like kind of pretentious way of going about how you had to wrestle. Like you could only wrestle if you did this, and then it was like the ring was called the narrative. And if you won, you controlled your narrative or some shit like that. And it was like, come on, y'all, what we doing? Like, that's what I mean. It was like, come on, man.
They were trying way too hard to be the anti-wrestling company.
Yeah.
No super kicks, which, yes, super kicks have gotten out of hand. No suicide dives, which, yes, suicide dives have definitely got out of hand. As people who say we watch AEW, I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't at least admit the fact that they do way too many fucking suicide dives and super kicks.
You want a drinking game? Count how many times Excalibur says "Tope Suicida" during a fucking Dynamite.
Oh my god!
And see if you ain't got a buzz. If not, you drunk by the end of the show. Yeah,
that could be an idea for Sunday.
Well, I don't drink, but yeah,
take a drink every time. There's a Tope Suicida.
Oh god. But no, you were right. You're right. Yes, because I remember you even said on like if it wasn't this, it was whatever we want or some shit. But you even said, remember back when super kicks actually used to be something, and you were joking. But at the same time, there's some truth in there because Sweet Chin Music used to be like, oh shit, that's the match ender.
It still is.
Right, but it also used to be that only one person did a DDT, and now DDT is a transitional move. So. Right, which is why it was called like DDT because it was something specific to Jake Roberts. Exactly.
And it was an accident when it first happened. That's the best part.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I think it was like I forget exactly what he was going for, but it turned into kind of just falling and putting the guy on his head. And he's like, actually, that kind of looked brutal in and of itself. So. Fuck it, that's my finisher now.
If you think about it, if it was a move that like everybody hadn't, done till the cows come home type shit, the concept of I'm gonna grab your fucking head and fall back with all my body weight, jamming it into the ground. That is some devastating shit.
That's why some people. That's why some people still have DDTs as their finishers.
It's just like a flare type of DDT.
Yeah, it's just a different thing on it. You have the hammerlock with Andrade where he fucking. Grabs your arm and leg to make sure you can't cushion the fall as much.
The paradigm shift
is like a double arm DDT where sometimes he just lifts you up and it's like a pile driver, or brainbuster DDT type deal.
Like a backwards brainbuster.
Fucking Drew. He had the future shock for a while, which was a double arm, and he'll occasionally whip it out. But normally, though, now he's all about to Claymore, which also came from a botch.
I was going to say, speaking of accident, he said that he was wearing 3MB pants and his pants were too tight, and he tried to do like a
big boot.
A big boot, but his other leg came up with it, and he fell, and it was like, actually, that looked kind of devastating. Yeah.
Who said 3MB didn't matter? Well, you're wrong.
Fuck you. Bruh.
It gave us 2 champions and the Claymore.
Mahal was dope in his own right. Slater was dope in his own right. Drew McIntyre is just dope in general. 3MB was fucking stupid. I don't care.
3MB was hilarious.
3MB was dope. Like
3MB was hilarious. Do I think they're gonna go down in the pantheons of tag team history? No, unless Slater somehow comes back and wins the world championship, in which case you kind of have to, because it's 3 Hall of Famers or it's 3 world champions on one team, kind of like the fucking Baby Thunder in the NBA, where it's like, man, they were really good, they were kids, and now all of them grew up to be MVPs. Holy shit, that team was actually, thinking back, that team was stacked. It'd be something like that, only the Thunder would be a better argument because they weren't necessarily jobbers while they were a team. But still, you would have to look at it. They were hilarious, damn it.
We always
do this. They were hilarious.
you allowed to like whatever the fuck you want to like.
The Shield was far better, and I'm a far bigger fan of the Shield. Again, I just don't think DMB deserves the hate they get. I think they were hilarious. That's all. And I think it's hilarious that two of them ended up going on to be champions. I mean, we kind of assumed Drew will. Drew told you since he got there, I'm the man Vince McMahon chose, handpicked to one day be the fucking
Vince
champion.
Told you that back in the day. Vince told you
like,
that.
This nigga gonna be champion.
Like literally said that. Vince came out with Drew McIntyre on an episode. More than just one, I believe, but definitely one, and came out and was like, hey, Drew, you're the guy. Like, basically said that in front of everybody, which was unfortunately the kiss of death because, you know, you can't just, like, label somebody as the guy because us wrestling fans don't want to be told who to cheer for.
I mean, he did the same thing with... Well, to be fair, in that thing, the difference is Drew was clearly a heel.
At the time, yeah. No,
same thing with Theory. Like, Vince handpicks him, but he didn't handpick him as a face. Same thing with Roman. Like, if Roman would have come out and Vince come out here and tell you himself in character, I know what I'm talking about, fuck y'all, this is my guy, and would have been like a heel from the start, that probably would have been different than what they tried to do with false organic, because they wanted to push some other narrative.
They wanted to control the narrative.
Yeah. I thought about that the second I said it. I was like, oh, damn it.
I will say this, that obviously 3MB, and they said this shit like it was some big secret, but obviously 3MB was three random motherfuckers that they didn't know what to do with, so they threw them together and they had to figure it out.
And now, they made the most out of it.
If you want my opinion of what team I liked around the time more of three random motherfuckers that they threw together, didn't know what to do with, who they've all said they were three random motherfuckers, but it was obvious anyway. The fucking Riot Squad I liked more than 3MB. I might be the only person to say that.
No, you're not. I can guarantee you the Riot Squad was more popular than that. The fact that, Ruby is at AEW now.
Now, Sarah Logan ain't done much. I mean, and she hasn't done much on camera. She had a fucking kid.
Yeah, so. I'm about to say, she also... That happened, so she
couldn't
do
on
much.
Camera, not so much, but definitely in life, of course. So...
Yep. But no, Riot Squad was definitely more popular.
Yeah. Okay. Hard pivot. Well, not pivot, but just I can't think of a segue. It's not a hard. I can't think of a segue, so I said hard pivot, but it's not really a hard pivot. But the shit that we've been hearing about CM Punk behind the scenes in AEW
is all fake. There we go.
You think so?
Yes.
Can you elaborate?
I
know why you say
it. It clearly is. What's he gonna do? Go to WWE with Hunter in charge? No, he fucking hates that guy. IRL.
He hates him more than Vince.
He hates him IRL. Dude has done nothing but sing the praises of AEW since he got there. Like, when he's not on a script. Like, no, they're just... People just overreact because they like overreacting. But the fact that... You saw AEW this past Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I saw.
The fact that he's still going to be fighting...
I was going to say, everybody, we're recording this before the Rampage of September 2nd. We're recording September 2nd, but before, like, earlier in the day. Anyway, go ahead.
The fact that he's still fighting Moxley Sunday... tonight. Because that's when this will be airing.
Right. When this is airing. But they were saying that it was like rumored, speculated, whatever the fuck, that Moxley actually pitched the squash match because supposedly, from what I heard, the wrestling rumors run goddamn rampant, so who knows anyway. But from what I heard, supposedly Moxley pitched for the match to go that way because Punk is supposed to win it All Out anyway.
Well, yeah.
So Moxley was like, well, Punk is going to win, so at least let me, like, you know, have this shit going into the damn fucking, like, thing. So supposedly he pitched that shit, and then Punk was like, okay.
It's all one big fabrication.
I don't
think there's any actual issues or heat behind the stages except for the people that we already know, because I mean they don't really hide shit. The fact that he hates Colt Cabana is probably very real. The fact that he and Eddie Kingston hate each other, I can almost guarantee you him and Eddie Kingston's hatred for one another is real. CM Punk hating AEW because I'm not the main star. No.
What was I gonna say? Because it all started that people started speculating and having issues and whatnot because they said that when Punk when he came back after his injury and he did the "Hey, I'm back" promo, and he started just running down everybody in a great promo. That was some heel shit. I was like, yo, when he was like, he's the third best John and the third best Eddie and the third best in his group, which is recurring shit. I was like, oh my God, that was some good shit. But the thing that everybody said was that he did the whole quote unquote going into business for himself thing where he called out Hangman Page, and they said that wasn't supposed to happen, which is because Hangman, like, I think it wasn't that he wasn't on the wasn't there that night. That wasn't the case, but he wasn't. They said he wasn't supposed to come out. He was backstage. He's supposed to like do a little backstage thing. Wasn't supposed to come out. So they said that he called Hangman out, but he wasn't supposed to. So it's like, what the fuck are you doing? And that was supposed to be, as they call it, a receipt, because he felt that Hangman alluded to real world, like actual real life issues between Cabana and Punk in an earlier promo when they were having their whole exchange before Punk won the title and shit. So Punk was like, well, that's why he said the apology needs to be as public as it is respect, because he felt that he publicly like tried to embarrass him, and that's where it started. And that made people speculate, well, if he did that, you know, he's upset and this and that and blah blah.
It's all to build a story.
Wrestling rumors. The only reason that I keep up with this shit as much as I do now is because we have a wrestling show. Because I have said several times, and I mean, I keep up with it to an extent because it's like fun to do at times. But in the past, definitely, I would not keep up with this shit to the level that I have within recent years. And I don't like wrestling rumors because...
Why bring it up?
Huh?
I said, then why bring it up?
Well, no, this is what I'm saying. Because, like, well, because we have a wrestling show. Like I said, I keep up with it because we have a wrestling show, so it's some shit to talk about. But I was just saying, like, this shit goes through everything or whatever. But it's like, I don't necessarily like wrestling rumors to an extent because who's to say what we know? Like, a lot of the times, like, so-and-so's coming back, or it's speculation of this, or speculation of that, or whatever. It's like, we don't really know what is going on behind the scenes most of the time with this shit. Now, my 2 cents in this whole thing, because you're right, this whole thing could be a fucking big ass work.
It is.
But I believe that there might be some, what's the word? I don't want to say jealousy, but there might be some side eyes from certain people, from certain people in the locker room to CM Punk. People might be like, kind of like, not really feeling everything that he does. Now, is that necessarily to say that CM Punk, in his climb to the top of every company he's been in, especially WWE and now AEW, people didn't always side-eye CM Punk because CM Punk said, I'm the shit, and then knew and proved that he was the shit? So anybody who does that is going to get side-eyed anyway, whether they're an asshole or not?
So you think the only reason these rumors came out is because people are jealous of Punk?
No, I mean, to an extent, like that's basically what's being rumored backstage is that people are saying, I'm not saying jealous, but I'm saying people are like not feeling Punk because Punk apparently comes off as like a jerk. So
well,
yeah,
I mean, he does.
No, I'm saying that is
he'll tell you he's a jerk.
I'm saying that those are the rumors. Is like the locker room is not feeling him that much because of that shit. Fair. So did the rumors come out because of that? Yeah, like that is why they surfaced. It started because of the Hangman thing, but that's why they surfaced. Yeah. I mean, like I said, like CM Punk is one of them dudes where he's like, I'm the shit. I'm gonna tell you I'm the shit, and then I'm gonna prove it. People don't always like that. So that's like a thing. Now, is it that, he probably would have no-showed All Out? He probably would have gone into business for himself in the match and not cooperated? I think he's too professional to do some shit like that.
Yeah, he's never done something like that. That's what I'm saying. This entire thing is a fucking work. Like I said, I told you, the only things I believe is that he and Eddie Kingston legit hate each other because as much, even though I like Eddie Kingston, I don't think he's that damn good of an actor. I think he just legit is not a happy person and will just be there to fight whoever. Nor am I like seeing the masterful skill work from him to be like, oh yeah, he's just acting like he's going out there to hurt people. No, when he says he's not here to win wrestling matches, he's here to fight people, I believe that shit. That he looks like a dude that's just here to fight people. And okay, yeah, all right. When he tells you that he was in a backyard wrestling and he thought the call he got to appear on AEW was a fake one, I can believe he thought, like, they don't want me in no AEW. That ain't no real call. Oh shit, it is. Like I can believe that. Looking at him, and that's fine. Like not every character needs to be a Bret Hart technical master. Like that's just what it is. So I can believe that. I can believe the Colt Cabana thing because if you've been friends with somebody and at one point one friend and then one friend believes that they were betrayed by the other, that can lead to some real life hatred. But this whole him and Adam Page not liking each other, or him whole like CM Punk's mad that they did this interim championship thing and all this shit. He's mad that they won't have him at the top. No. Now, if he would have came back, did the squash, and then we never see his ass again because he leaves the company, that's one thing. The fact that it wasn't even like a week and the nigga's already back and in the main event at the pay-per-view should tell you everything about all the falsehood of all of this shit.
I do believe that
he's in on all these rumors.
I do believe that there might be some issue between Punk and Hangman, because like now whether CM Punk is like backstage, throwing his weight around and whining, quote unquote, whatever. Okay, but I do believe that there might be some issue with Punk and Hangman because of the promo and them and people like misunderstanding what people said. I do believe that.
Oh no. Adam Page told everybody he hates Colt Cabana. Everybody fucking knows that.
Well, that was the whole thing. It was like if Punk really did, go off script and call him out when he wasn't supposed to, the whole thing was like, bro, why are you making such a big deal? Yeah, that was the whole thing in the first place.
My thing is, I don't think he went off script.
I got you.
I got you. Because that's just how AEW is. They don't hide real life history between people on their promos. They're like, okay, so we acknowledge that WWE exists and that what you did in WWE happened. So we're going to use that to insult you if you was a jobber over there. Or you weren't what you are here. If you weren't what you are here, we're going to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
That's just what they do. So, and because we're in the, I don't like people calling it a reality era, but for lack of a better phrase, that's kind of what it is. Where because quote unquote kayfabe is dead, quote unquote, because kayfabe is dead, they, in order to sell it at all, they mix more and more real life or possibly real life, giving you the plausible deniability about whether or not what they say is real. Like, well, it could be the case. They mix that shit into their promos to blur that line a little bit more so that you don't know, so that you still have some kind of kayfabe thing like, oh, wait a minute, these two dudes might actually hate each other. You know, because in wrestling, that's pretty much what it is. You're here to watch people beat the shit out of each other, and the story is to why are they beating the shit out of each other, right. Especially if there's no title on the line.
Gotta have a reason why to get the audience to give a fuck. No, like I said, I don't think Punk is no whiny bitch. I don't think Punk is unprofessional.
He's got nothing to whine about.
I don't think he's unprofessional enough to where he would go off script in a fucking match, or he would just no-show some shit. No, the man's too professional and he loves wrestling too much to do some shit like that. Do I think that him and Hangman might have a little bit of something real life? I kind of do. I don't know. I do. Maybe. I believe that there might be something with that. But everything else, no, I don't think that they gonna schedule CM Punk to be the main event at a big wrestling fucking like
where he squashes John Moxley, the other guy.
I don't think they would schedule him for a main event. And he would just be like, nah, fuck it. Like, no, man. Like he's been doing this shit way too fucking long and well documented that he loves wrestling way too much for him to do that. Like we said, like we both believe that him and Eddie Kingston can't fucking stand each other, hate each other's guts. Them motherfuckers are too professional to go off script in a match where they were fighting each other, and the basis around it was how much we hate each other in real life. But yet they still didn't go off script. So I don't think he would do some shit like that. But I mean, no. Does it make for good fucking like storytelling and TV? Yeah, of course it does. The promo, I thought the promo that he did, rallying the troops in Chicago and shit, and being in there in the fucking in the crowd and everything that he just did Wednesday, I thought that was a good ass promo. He's like, this is Chicago. We blah, blah, blah. And he like walked into the crowd and like everything like that. That one dude in the audience, called her Straight-O because apparently he was chanting Colt Cabana and he was like, I got 16 screws in my knee, which is 16 more times than this fat guy in the front row would be screwed in his life.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. So he caught a stray, but I mean, other than that, he went from cutting a very heel promo where it was like, is he about to turn heel, to then cutting a very face promo. So honestly, I don't know what they're gonna do, which is good. I like not knowing.
You also realize, like, no matter what he says, Chicago will never boo that man.
Oh, well, right. Which is why Moxley, when he goes there and Moxley gets cheered everywhere else, but he just beat the hometown hero, that's why Moxley was getting boos.
Yeah, Moxley's not winning Sunday. It'll probably be a squash in and of itself, just to further assert his dominance.
Speaking of which, why don't we go into that then? Okay. Let's go into the predictions for AEW All Out.
Actually, AEW All Out has like 14 matches. Clash at Castles has 6.
Clash at Castle first?
Yeah. Just to get it out the way, because it's like 6 matches.
Okay. Again, to be fair, these storylines I know of to an extent, not as well versed in these storylines as I am in the AEW ones. All right.
Same.
So, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman in this corner, but Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre for the... Okay. I did not realize this. I should have fucking known this. Hold on. Wait a minute. I should have fucking known this shit. Maybe this is a heavy ass coincidence, but this is fucking a big ass coincidence. We're having 2 main title undisputed matches happening this weekend.
Fair.
Holy shit. What the fuck? but y'all companies don't pay attention to each other. Okay. We just say AEW pays attention to
Well,
WWE.
one makes more sense as an undisputed championship.
Yeah. But they're both like both brands coming together, and then one is like interim and actual. So
yeah.
But yeah. What's the name? But I was just like, wow, damn, that's crazy. Like I knew that, but I didn't really think about it till right now, like looking at it. All right. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
I mean,
Drew McIntyre is going to unfortunately go down in history as the guy who won the title when no one was there, because he's not going to win this one.
I agree.
He's going to unfortunately go down in history as he got his profile up and won the title when no one else was around.
Yep, and will never get the respect he deserves.
He's not beating Roman. Not for the first undisputed WWE Universal. No, he's not beating Roman.
No.
That's not happening. Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler. Now, we did talk about Liv getting booed randomly and the fans chanting, "You tapped out." She handled it like a goddamn pro when she said, "Thanks for calling me on my shit." They had to, mute shit and all that, but yeah. But whether the fans are getting slightly soured on Liv or not, whether Shayna deserves to have a damn championship, because she does, Liv is going to keep this.
All right. So while I can see your points and can't really argue against it, I think this will be an idea of whether or not the Triple H era has actually started. If Shayna wins this, because remember, Shayna was scary in NXT.
She was like, I'm going to fucking submit and make everybody pass out.
She was fucking terrifying.
NXT Shayna was fucking, and now she's over here getting scared by fucking Lily. But yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, just because it's supposedly the Triple H era now, I'm going to say Shayna, but I hear your reasoning as well.
I hear what you're saying, but I honestly think you could make a case for the Triple H era for whoever wins, because Liv deserves it too. But you're saying because Triple H was like running NXT and Shayna,
Triple H's little pet projects, not who deserves it.
Not deserving, but and Shayna was more NXT.
Because who deserves it? If we want to go with who deserves it out of, like, we got the people fighting for championships, your fucking Dakota Skies, Team Dakota Sky probably should have won that championship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they should have won that
because they were stronger. They got more of a reputation and they built up. And I'm not saying that the other women don't deserve a push of in and of themselves. I don't even know who they is. Well, Raquel Gonzalez is one person.
Rodriguez is somebody. I forget who the other one was.
Oh, I got her mixed up with someone else.
No, Raquel Gonzalez was her name. They changed it to Rodriguez.
Oh, okay. Why?
They changed it again.
Whatever. We're gonna go down that whole thing, but I'm just saying, like.
I got you. Anyway, but yeah. Speaking of the three, Bayley and friends, we got Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka versus Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky in a 6-woman tag team. Now, look, if Bayley, Io, and Dakota don't win this match, come on. Do I love Asuka? Do I love Alexa? Do I love Bianca? Fuck yeah. But why would the three women who are being presented as a stable not win against the three, hey, we ain't got nothing for y'all, go out there and wrestle team? Come on.
Yeah, because they need to establish this Bayley team as an actual threat. I'm also going with you.
Like, why would they? Because they didn't win the tag matches. Okay, but this is a pay-per-view, and this is a match against three high-profile women. Why would they not let them win?
Because the other three women are high-profile women.
High-profile, yeah.
Like, realistically, you could see Team Asuka winning, but if you want Team Bayley to be taken seriously, You need them to win something.
Well, I was gonna say, and one of them has a champion.
Otherwise, they're just 3WB.
Funny. Matt Riddle, and there you go. Like I said, yeah, you got his first name back. Matt Riddle versus. Well, if we're doing name changes, can we drop the freaking? Anyway, Matt Riddle versus Seth freaking.
I do hate that they made freaking part of this thing.
That's been his official name for like almost like a year now.
I do hate that change. Just make him Seth Rollins. The freaking was just literally him one time almost saying I'm Seth fucking Rollins, and he's like, oh shit, I almost said I'm Seth freaking Rollins, and then they're like, that's your name from now on. What?
Matt Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins. In a match, just a match. Seth.
I'm gonna go Seth.
That's an argument for Riddle. It's Seth.
Riddle probably should. If you want to build him up, he should win something eventually. But Seth is, well, they're both Hunter's boys. So who knows?
Recently, Riddle hasn't really won anything of note without Randy like by his side.
To be fair, like it's only been a couple months, but yes.
Couple months is recent. No, you're right. We got Gunther with Ludwig Kaiser in his corner versus Sheamus with the rest of the Brawling Brutes, as in Rich Holland and Butch for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Sheamus is going to win. Although, I mean, you could make a case that they might want to push Gunther and like give him something to do, but and Sheamus has never been, one to not let somebody establish their name a little bit more with a victory over him.
Is this a singles match?
It's a singles match. It's Gunther versus Sheamus. They just have their people in their corners.
Give me Walter.
I was gonna say Sheamus though, yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, you could make a claim. Like I said, you could make a claim for Gunther to win because they're still building his name, and Sheamus has never been one to say, "Nah, fuck that, ain't nobody beating me." Yeah. So
we shall see.
Yeah, we shall see.
Oh, by the way, speaking of wrestling rumors that I don't have any founding in because I already picked my pick for this match, rumor has it that Triple H has come out saying he doesn't like part-timers. So with Roman being a part-timer, some people think Drew might take it off of him. Now, if Hunter's a man of his word. Part-timers as the champion. Like, if it was like, if you're the champion, you need to be there.
But that, I mean, and I'll say whether what you say is true or not, Drew beating Roman to be the first undisputed WWE Universal Champion, period, would be more claim of the Triple H era. Like, just period. If he beats him in like decisive fashion with no shenanigans, that'd be fucking
this whole pay-per-view, pretty much. Like, there's
it's gonna kind of tell us how much of the Triple H era
of it is business as usual versus Triple H is actually trying to shake things up.
Yeah, because obviously it goes without saying, no shit, Roman's gonna win. But if Drew wins, despite what you said, if Drew wins, that'd be crazy. Now, also what you said, yeah. I'm with Triple H though, man. I'm not a big fan of like part-timers being the champion if it's an extended amount of time.
I'm fine with it when it wasn't like every fucking champion is doing this. The first Brock Lesnar part-timer run, I had no problem with. It was different.
Everybody loved it.
Now everybody's doing it, and it's like, okay.
I don't like when it goes on for too long. Everybody loved when Brock came back. I didn't like when Brock had the title and pretty much was holding it hostage.
To be fair to Brock and Roman, we give Bruno Sammartino the respect we do, and wrestling wasn't on every week back then, but he still also defended it like once a month or a few times a year.
Well, I mean, but that's that was
that was a different time.
It's a different
That's like,
time,
at one
but that's
point-
what they were going for. Like he had it that long because he wasn't around that much, and they
I
were
got
going
you,
for
but I'm
that
just
similar
saying-
kind of feel for this. But again, it got played out a lot more with Roman and Brock because they made Brock do it like 2 or 3 times with extended reigns where he held the title hostage. If Brock did this once in the early 2010s, I don't think people would have nearly as much of a problem with it. But they kept going back to that well, and now Roman's doing it.
That's why they say the modern era. I think the San Martino thing. I see where you're coming from, but because that's like, you know, at one point, movies used to be black and white and have no sound. So,
Well,
like shit
I
changes.
said it wasn't every week. I
got you.
acknowledge that it was different.
What was I gonna say? Edge and Rey Mysterio with Dominic in their corner versus Finn Balor and Damian Priest with Rhea Ripley in their corner, as in the 3 Judgment Day people. So the Judgment Day versus Edge and Rey Mysterio in just a tag team match. Now, the reason why I say this is a hard call is because Edge is Edge, Mysterio's Mysterio, but you know, well, see, this is the thing, though. It's not Vince. If it was Vince, I'd be like, they could want to, you know, say, fuck the fans one more time and have, you know, the Judgment Day beat them. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with the story to really necessarily see. But this is Edge basically versus his former group with Mysterio helping him. The thing is, Finn needs something, but I'm gonna say Edge wins. Edge and the Mysterios take this.
Same. I don't think Triple H likes Judgment Day and the fact that they took Edge's stable from him. This might be a good way to get rid of that. And have Finn go ahead and go back to being a singles dominator.
Supposedly, Edge pitched the Judgment Day turning on him and him leaving the group because he they were gonna go a route of like some supernatural shit and some other crazy ass shit, and Edge was like, I don't like that. That doesn't make any damn sense. I don't want to do that shit.
To be fair, Edge, you came out and went full Undertaker with your shit. Like, how did you not expect him to go supernatural with it? It was pretty much an Undertaker tribute gimmick you had going on. Took the purple and black, the lights and the smoke and all this other shit. I thought he was going supernatural from the beginning.
But it was like, that's why I was like, I think supernatural. If it wasn't supernatural, it was something. But I want to say supernatural if it wasn't that. Either way, they were going to go a direction that Edge did not like, and he kind of thought like, you know, it was silly or whatever. So he was like, yo, I don't want to do that. And then they basically were like, you know, well, he's like, I want out. So they was like, okay, and they found a way to get him out. So supposedly, again, rumors, but from what I heard, Edge was like, I don't want to be a part of where this is going. So not only did they kick him out of his group, but it's speculated, rumored or whatever, that Edge was like, please kick me out the group. Like he requested that shit. All right. All Out. We got the, what is it? Not the buy-in. What do they call it? 0 hour. That's what that shit is. We got Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston. Now, you want to talk about some more rumors? Although this actually did happen. There's video of it, but they edited the shit out of Rampage. I don't know if you heard about this. This was supposed to be Eddie Kingston versus Sammy Guevara, but they actually did have an issue that they edited out of Rampage because Eddie.
I heard he punched him in the face. And again, it's Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
I would believe it. Like, you tell me this man is not a happy person,
Yeah.
I believe you.
That's not a rumor. That actually did happen. Like, because I saw fan video of the shit. Sammy Guevara was in the middle of the ring on a Rampage, and he was just giving a regular promo of like, yeah, well, you want to talk about people this, people that, and people doing so-and-so? Well, then, you know what? Eddie Kingston, you talk all this trash and come out here, you fat piece of shit. And he didn't like that Sammy said fat piece of shit because Sammy wasn't supposed to say you fat piece of shit. He like kind of ad-libbed that. So Eddie came out and basically mushed him like, you know, like fuck you for saying fat piece of shit, and they actually had like real life issues off of that. So they ended up scrapping the match that they had planned because it was like, this could get volatile, which is for the better. Because, yeah, and I actually saw the fan video that is edited out of Rampage where he did say, you fat piece of shit. So, yeah. So we got Eddie Kingston versus Tomohiro Ishii. I believe Eddie Kingston is going to win. Now, if it was Eddie Kingston versus Sammy Guevara, okay, you might actually have I'd actually speculate a little harder.
I love that. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying, but when it's a replacement and it's Ishii, I believe it's Eddie.
I love that with Jon Moxley busy back fighting for the title, his best buddy Eddie has picking up his versus Japan duties, and is continuing the whole thing. Because I remember I think my roommate was like, yeah, Eddie Kingston fought some dudes versus Japan. I'm like, well, of course, John can't do it, so why not? Just pick it up. That said, it's Eddie. I don't know enough about the guy Eddie Kingston's fighting, but I do know that the whole point of Eddie Kingston isn't that he wins a lot. Whether he wins or loses has no effect on his standing in the company. He's him. Not him in the sense of, he's him. He's him, like the colloquialism. More like he is what you see is what you get, and you're gonna get that every time, no matter if he wins or loses. In that case, I'm just gonna say the Japanese dude is probably gonna win because it's that. If Eddie wins, I'm not surprised, but they might be trying to push Japanese dude.
Really? I think out of a lot of the Japanese competitors, I don't think Moxley actually wrestled Ishii yet.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think he's one of the Japanese competitors he hasn't wrestled. It's just so funny that you say that he's picking up where he left off. Because I think this is somebody who was featured on AEW a few times that Moxley hasn't wrestled. That's so funny.
Because they had that whole little mini storyline of just Jon Moxley versus Japan. And then Jon Moxley went to rehab and they kind of squashed that.
He wrestled about 3 Japanese wrestlers, yeah. We got Pac versus Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian finally, where everybody was saying, hey, you know that dude with the box with the holes in it? That's Kip. He was doing that shit for months.
Finally, like a year, damn near.
Yeah, he did. He was going to like some indie shows and shit and doing that. And he finally took the box off and was like, hey, I've been Kip the whole time. And the announcers didn't run from it and everything. So Kip Sabian is like randomly back. His wife, I think, was on a random ass episode of like Rampage like a week or 2 ago. And it was like, where the fuck have you been? You know? So both of them are like, where the fuck have y'all been? Hey, like, anyway. I think Penelope Ford was injured, though. I think the bunny is injured right now, too, which is why we haven't seen him. But Kip Sabian versus Pac. The one thing I like about the All-Atlantic Championship is that so far they're making it like the belt for the foreigners, and the only people who are going for it are foreigners. So I like that.
Kip Sabian is a foreigner?
Yeah, I forget exactly where he's from, but yeah, he has an accent and everything. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I forget exactly where he's from though. In this particular case, Pac has even been taking the belt around and wrestling in certain like indie shows and shit too. They've been showing, like, and defending the championship and shit. There's a case to be made for both of them. I'm going to say they could pull the rug out from under us and have Kip win, especially after, like you said, a fucking year of the box shit. I'm gonna say Pac holds on to it because he hasn't had it that long. I'm gonna say he holds on to it.
I wouldn't be surprised if Pac held on to it because they want to make him be scary. He's from that side of AEW after all. That said, part of me feels like having Kip lose his first match back in a year, why bring him back?
After what they're doing and everything, yeah.
So I say Kip wins, but in like some shady shit fashion, so that Pac doesn't look like he
doesn't look bad.
Yeah, but Kip also doesn't look terrible because, well, It's his first match back in a year. If he's coming back just to job to people, what's the point of bringing him back? Sit his ass right back in the audience with a box on his head. He'll be more popular.
Gotcha. Especially if the whole point of him putting the box on his head was him trying to prove that, I'm not important. They don't give a fuck about
over it.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about me. And then it's like, well,
You
no,
were right.
they don't.
Sit your ass right back in the crowd.
Right. I just looked it up. Kip Sabian is from England.
Oh, okay.
Hook versus Angelo Parker with Matt Menard, the other 2.0 for the FTW championship. Now, this is just something between me and Ibn, but I think it's so funny that Ibn, he was like, the FTW championship doesn't even feel like a real championship because they don't defend it. No, I'm saying, he was like, it don't feel like a championship. He's like, because they don't defend it. And then right after he said that, later that week, they fucking had 2 championship matches for this shit back to back with Ricky Starks, and they've been defending the fuck out of this goddamn title. And I was like, Ibn, it's almost like Tony Khan heard your ass and was like, oh really? Hook versus Angelo Parker for the FTW championship. Hey Parker, you might have a decent match. Hook ain't losing this though. Tell you that much.
Okay, I'm about to say, why are you acting like there's any thought involved in this? No, Hook wins. Who the fuck is Angelo Dawkins? I don't give a fuck about no Angelo Dawkins.
Don't you do Angelo Dawkins like that?
I mean, Angelo Dawkins is so lucky that he has Montez Ford as a teammate.
I'm not gonna do that. No. No.
He might be a cool dude, but Montez Ford is definitely the reason that the Street Profits are what they are.
I'm not gonna do that to that.
Angelo Dawkins has a jump spin weird corner move thing.
No.
And that's about it.
I wouldn't confirm nor deny.
I think you've done enough just by saying that.
I can't feel good about myself by engaging further in this conversation with you.
Bottom line is, Hook beats Angelo Dawkins at the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Do not call that man Dawkins.
Hey, at least I know who the fuck Angelo Dawkins is. I'll give him that. I don't know who this other guy is.
You know who Angelo Parker is. He got the switchblade comb. He was the other part of 2.0.
The hybrid is one of those motherfuckers? Oh no! Get him out of here! Get him out of here! He's gonna fucking lose. The hybrid 2.0 sucks.
You know, the one dude in 2.0 is like super intense. And he's like, we're gonna get you. He's the sports entertainers. He's like, that's Matt Menard. His partner was Angelo Parker.
So not the hybrid 2.0.
No, not hybrid. No.
Just 2.0. So
2.0, yeah. The 2 dudes who got paired up with Daniel Garcia before they joined the JS.
All right. That does not make him any more significant. He's gonna get out of here. He's gonna whoop his ass.
I'm not saying
that.
I'm just saying I'm not about to shit on Angelo Dawkins while I talk about him is all I'm saying. Oh God! You paused because you wanted to say more shit about Dawkins.
No, I said what I needed to say.
Oh, okay. I think you've said enough. No, I'm joking. That was a joke. American Dragon Bryan Danielson versus Lionheart Chris Jericho, and this, of course, is going to be the culmination of: are you a wrestler or a sports entertainer? This has been some good fucking storytelling. This has been good shit. This is, basically who you gonna go with, Daniel? Are you joining with your idol? Are you staying with your mentor? Are you jumping ship? Or, what are you doing? The crowd getting behind it in a major way and chanting, "You're a wrestler!" Clap, 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 clap. That's good shit, man.
Well, yes, AEW hates AEW and their main fan base, not every AEW fan,
which
hates
is why
everything WWE stands for and
Which is
even
why
that resembles it.
And Chris Jericho understood that, which is why he leaned into it
Well, it
and
was
made
the
this
only
whole
way
thing
he was
up.
going to get them to boo him.
Because he's Chris Jericho, yeah. This storytelling is good shit, especially with the whole what side is Danny Garcia picking. This match is going to be amazing. You got two people that can pretty much have a good match with anyone, and they're having a match with each other.
Oh, there's a what side is Daniel Garcia picking part of this?
Yeah, because you haven't seen the whole "Are you a wrestler? Are you a sports entertainer?" shit.
No, I've only been able to see like the latter half of AEW shows because my work schedule changed, so I get home during the second half of the show.
Oh, you don't try to.
I knew about Gimmick Jericho, who up until he fought Moxley, Gimmick switching Jericho was undefeated. Every time he came back as a new version of Chris Jericho, he kept winning until he fought Moxley as Lionheart and lost.
I'm saying you don't try to watch like recordings and shit.
I don't have a DVR.
Oh well, I know a place that you can look for it. Anyway, but no, Danielson versus Jericho. The whole thing with Daniel Garcia, if you haven't seen, is Daniel Garcia. The whole thing has been like he's not officially out the JAS, but it's basically pick a side because he has said in real life that his favorite wrestler of all time, his idol, is Bryan Danielson. People have even somewhat made comparisons to Garcia as being somewhat of a young Danielson, but obviously he is in a team with Chris Jericho.
I'm just not a real wrestling fan.
He's in a team under Chris Jericho, so the whole thing is like, are you a wrestler? Are you a sports entertainer? Are you going to pick your idol? Are you going to pick your mentor? And he even said to Jericho, like he never said I'm a wrestler, I'm a sports entertainer, but he was even kind of saying to Jericho, like, I still like you, but how dare you make me choose? This Wednesday, Jericho was about to after Danielson's match with, I forget who it was, but Jericho goes down with a chair and he's about to hit Danielson with it. Garcia comes out and takes the chair, not to straight up turn on Chris Jericho, but he takes the chair to just be like, what are you doing? But that distracted Jericho enough for Danielson to hit him with the knee. So it's this whole conflict. And Jericho said, this Sunday, you got to pick Garcia. So yeah, it's good storytelling. It really is.
All right. Fair enough. I'm just saying I must not be a real wrestling fan because
you don't like Garcia.
Yeah, I don't see, he's the next Daniel Bryan. What? How do we get this from this guy?
I'm not saying people say he's the next one, but they see shades of Danielson in him, yeah.
Okay. I don't.
I think Garcia is really good, but
Fair enough.
But when it comes to the American Dragon versus the Lionheart, I'm gonna say what advances the story? Ooh, that's not just who's gonna win, but what advances the story? Let Jericho lose. He can take it. He's the heel anyway. Danielson's gonna win, and then and that'll even help the story because it's like your mentor lost. Do you go with your fallen mentor or not? Yeah.
I ain't gonna go with it on that whole philosophical thing. I'm just gonna be like, Danielson hasn't wrestled for a while because of the injuries and the shit. Also, like you said, Jericho can afford to lose, so I'm picking Bryan Danielson. Yeah. I just hope with this whole Daniel Garcia face turn thing they're trying to do and hint at, that it doesn't last as long as the Wardlow thing. While I talked about long form narratives earlier, not every single fucking narrative needs to take 3 years.
It was handled very well.
I don't need another 3 years of are you going to betray him or are you not? Yeah. While you hint for 3 years that you might. No, just not everybody needs to do that. Yeah, it took Wardlow a while, but
it worked.
You don't
with
have to,
Wardlow,
Daniel Garcia.
I agree with you. Now who do I think Garcia is going to join with? I
Jericho
think
also doesn't need a Garcia, especially when he has a whole stable of people.
Yeah. Although now I hope that Garcia doesn't have the Sammy Guevara effect. If you want to talk about being under Jericho, where he finally.
I feel like that's why they're doing this.
Well, no, what I was gonna say was Sammy had his identity.
Yep.
He made his identity from under Jericho, left. Then they were like, "Ooh, that experiment didn't work," and put him back with Jericho. Don't do that with Garcia.
The only reason that didn't work is because he decided to
go heel and like all that shit.
He went heel IRL with the whole Tay Conti thing. Like, it was working. People were happy that he was the TNT champion. The face turn was working. It was time for him to leave Jericho. But then he started being Jericho Guevara in real life, and people hated that. And so they're like, fuck it. If he's going to be heel anyway, just put him back with Jericho.
Yeah. That's the whole thing is like, so if Garcia does leave, please do not bring him back. Because like I said, the JAS works. I like the JAS. But it really is looking like a stable with all of the like up-and-comer, like young upstarts that we don't know what to do with. That's what it looks like. So,
well, AEW just shoves people into factions anyway. You come there, you got to join a faction. You can't be a solo artist. Not for long.
I like that to an extent. It's just that's what the JAS looks like to me. When they added Anna JAS and they put fucking Sammy back and then added Ty Mello too, it was like, okay, y'all.
Well, they were gonna add
y'all just don't know what to do with these motherfuckers.
Oh, she's not Ty Conti there. She's Ty Mello.
She's Ty Mello, and
I've been calling her Ty Conti this whole time.
Well, her and Sammy got married, and Conti was a holdover name from I think her previous marriage.
Oh.
So yeah. And she previously wrestled under the name Ty Mello. So when they got married, she dropped the Conti because she married a new person.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. But yeah, man. This is that match. That a lot of matches on this card, but that match, just because of who's in it, that match has potential to be match of the night. Then, of course, we have a match that got killed because of injury. So, I wonder who's going to win. Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, or Hikaru Shida. I wonder. Toni Storm, duh, for the Women's Championship. Or the interim, I should say. Like Toni. Because it was speculated that Toni was going to beat Rosa anyway. And now Rosa ain't even in the match, so they had to throw in, make it a fatal four-way and throw in 3, holdovers. Toni's gonna win.
Fair.
Out of these people, the people with the biggest names is Britt Baker and then Toni Storm. Shida only comes back on TV.
Everybody fucking hates Shida. I guess I'm not a real fucking wrestling
fan. Shida, but
the fact that you say she doesn't have a big name when she had that fucking title for a fucking year, and you talk about Drew not getting any respect for being a pandemic champion.
Listen to what I'm saying. Out of these 4 women, I like all 4 of them. But if we're talking about whose name holds weight based off of stories that we are seeing and high profiles that we're seeing on a recurring basis, it's not so much. And I'm just saying this based
don't complain about Drew and Bailey.
No, listen to what I'm saying.
And say Shida doesn't have a name.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying this based off of how I feel about them. I'm saying this based off of what I am seeing. It's not that I don't care about Shida. I like Shida. I really fucking do. It looks like AEW don't care about Shida. They don't put on a damn show. I love that woman. I think she's dope. Anyway, like I said, Toni Storm is gonna win. All these they threw 3 other people in to fill a slot and kind of make the match seem more something.
Yeah, I'd say Toni Storm wins too because you invested all this time into her as this.
Right.
But to be like,
it was speculated she was going to win anyway versus her and Rosa.
Yeah, my thing wasn't necessarily mad that you said Tony was going to win or anything like that. Just that her and Britt are the only ones with any credibility. I was like, come on now. That's the only thing I was saying. It got a little heated because that's how we talk, but yeah.
I got you. The way they're being billed, Sheeta's name does not hold as much weight as Baker and Storm in this match. The way they're being billed. It just, I hadn't even seen that woman for like over a month, if not more than that. And then all of a sudden they dug her up to put her in that match. Yeah, so I agree with you though. Got the House of Black versus Miro, Darby Allin, and Sting. Miro made an unlikely team up with Darby Allin and Sting, and now is going against the House of Black in a 3-on-3. Not for the trios title, obviously, but just
of course not.
I want to get my
that
revenge.
Side of AEW doesn't give a fuck about championships.
Right. Well, House of Black was in the trios tournament.
They don't give a fuck.
They weren't in the damn tournament.
Yeah, they were in the Atlantic tournament too. Okay. End of the day, that's just because they were like, hey, scary people, here's a belt. We didn't win it? Whatever. Fuck these people over here. Hey, Brody, go chunk that Darby motherfucker. Darby's like, I'm too busy how dare you try to kill me when I'm trying to kill myself? And so they start fighting. And that's what it is. And Miro's like, I heard if I kill you, I get closer to killing God. Sure. All right, let's do this. And so they just doing their own thing.
Man, I can't wait until it might not ever happen, but I can't wait until the day CJ Perry debuts in fucking AEW, because he was like, no, only one woman can touch the Redeemer, like, and then like she shows up finally. That'd be dope as shit. But anyway, Miro, he like basically Miro's like, I wanted to beat your ass, and now you spit in my face too, bitch. So he's like, I really want to whoop your ass now. And then Sting and Darby even said in the vignette, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, which is, classic old saying. So they basically said, we don't necessarily like Miro, we just hate y'all more. Like basically what they said.
Yeah.
So Miro's on a run. The team is a little random to team with Darby and Sting, but it is classic faces versus heels. Miro's on a run, though. I'm going to give Miro this. Miro, Sting, and Darby. I'm going to give them this.
Unless Miro betrays them, I'm going
Which would be
Miro.
fucking crazy. I didn't even think about that.
He got
Miro
the spit in his
heel.
face. He got the spit in his face, so there's a chance. On some Bray Wyatt hand glove shit, that face spit has been gimmick altering in AEW. That's the only thing I'm saying. Like, that might not actually be a thing. It might be a fan theory. But I'm saying Miro wins. But if that fan theory turns out to be true, there you go.
Penta got what's his name? He just finally went back about 3 weeks ago
to El Cerro Miedo.
Yeah, but he was Penta Oscuro for about 2 months or 3 months or some shit.
For a minute.
Yeah, it was a while.
Speaking of shit you don't want to fight. Nigga coming out of gravestone.
He would put like the name of his like opponent at that time on the fucking like tombstone and shit.
I came here to fight. It's that Key and Peele MMA sketch where they're like trying to hype up the fight, and then like you had like the one guy that's doing your typical, I'ma go ahead and crush him, and it cut to like the foreign dude that's like, when I choke the life from your body and your spirit goes out to be embraced by the angels, they're gonna do so. You will know that God exists. He's like, so wait, he knows it's just a fight, right? God's lessons are so beautiful. What? God's lessons are beautiful. What do y'all got me fighting against? That's how I feel with some of these fucking entrances. It's like, no, that's not what I signed up for, okay? No, he's here to kill me.
Oh, man. But yeah, like I said, I got Miro on this. Who'd you say?
Miro. Unless he
Miro,
betrays them.
But that would be, I didn't think about that. That'd be crazy. If Miro does this whole, I'm not going to turn, I'm not going to turn, I'm not going to turn, and then like the darkness gets him. Because we see what happened to Julia. And then, we, like you said, what happened to Penta.
Pac went full Kenshi for like 2 months.
For like, yeah, he did. And I mean, now Sting didn't succumb to the darkness, but his face paint is altered. That's the most he got out of it.
Also,
so,
he stings, so
he already succumbed to the darkness 20 years ago.
He's above shit like that.
Or like 23, 4, 5 years ago, shit.
Did Sting start jumping off of shit after the spit? Because he's been jumping off of shit a lot more.
I can't say for certain.
I think that's the case.
I think he was jumping off of shit. I think he was jumping off of shit before he got dismissed. Okay. I think so. I think he was already doing that.
Because he just definitely went full AEW once that happened.
Another match that, now this isn't rumors, this is just me, but another match that I believe injuries fucked this matchup. But Jade Cargill versus Athena for the AEW Championship.
I know anything about injuries.
Which one is injured? No, I was gonna say it's possible this was supposed to happen, but I think Chris Statlander was supposed to either be in this match or play more of a point in this. Statlander got injured again. I forget exactly what it was. Yeah. Because that's why you had the baddies versus Athena and Statlander, and then all of a sudden you didn't see Statlander no more.
Gotcha.
Because she got fucked up. I don't know what happened, but yes, she got injured like again. AEW just be getting injuries, man. It sucks.
I wonder why.
Yeah, it's because like the
price you pay for entertainment.
They let people let people go harder.
Which we've mentioned that. We've mentioned that on a previous episode. I told you that was the slight fear I had about the company, as much as I enjoy it.
Previously, I was like, "Are you sure?" I guess. I see it now. Like you can't speculate now. No, people get injured way more because they go harder in AEW than people work in WWE. No, that's true. So yeah, motherfuckers is getting fucked up.
That's why you get the old heads telling them to slow down, but they just get told, shut up, boomer. This is the modern wave.
Billy Gunn was I'm gonna misquote it a little bit, because I don't know exactly what he said or what the interview was, but he said something like AEW is a little more, not completely, but in certain cases, like wrestling in and people going crazier and going off more and shit. AEW is a little more unstructured than what WWE was.
Yeah.
He was like, that's something he had to get used to.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they letting people fucking go off. These matches are incredible, but like you said, that's the price you gotta pay. I remember when we previously said this last month, I was like understanding what you were saying. I didn't fully say it. No, I agree. I see it. I see it now. But Jade versus Athena, love Athena. You can make an argument for Athena.
Athena, you
Jade is gonna
conspire against me.
Jade is gonna keep this.
Jade is gonna smite Athena like Kratos. After that, we got Jungle Jack Perry versus.
Why we both say it at the same time? Jungle Boy versus Christian, or according to what Jungle Boy just said in the JR interview with them with the no physicality. He said I'm not Jungle Boy this Sunday. I'm Jack. I think he said Jack Perry, but yeah. So he did basically say yeah.
There was that whole thing that since JR was fucking up his name in year one, my roommate and I have both kind of been convinced that eventually when he gets older, he's just going to be known as like Jungle Jack Perry.
Steven Larson, I talk about, I watch them a lot because I like them.
I know who that is.
Steven Larson, they're YouTube wrestling bloggers, wrestling like.
Okay.
like media, so to speak, with bloggers basically. They're like older guys, like in their 40s, almost 50s, I think. But they were saying that this whole thing, this whole storyline has been good, but it's been really good for Jungle Boy because it's given Jungle Boy an identity, and it's also let Jungle Boy have to kind of step up his game because he's going against Christian in promos and shit like that. And I agree, man. This is, in a sense, even more of a coming out party for Jungle Boy than his last few like storylines. We're getting to see.
I mean, the kid's still like early ass 20s.
25.
Okay, so he's mid 20s. Nonetheless, he's still young. He's growing.
I agree.
Like, and that's been the whole story the whole time. Like, with Jungle Boy, ever since Christian got there, is Jungle Boy learning to grow up. The fucking them versus Elite or whatever pay-per-view where Jungle Boy had to learn how to use weapons against people to be a man.
He
like,
didn't want to, he like didn't want to use a chair.
Like that's literally like, Jungle Boy growing up. Yeah, so this whole thing has been a story. I'm not gonna be like this. Jungle Boy's growth started now. No, that's been part of this whole Jungle Boy story in AEW. Here's this kid that's like, haha, I'm here with the guy that used to carry me on the shoulder. So actually, when I was a kid, and we're here, and I'm a wrestler now. My dad's dead, but he was on 90210. Cheer for me, yeah. And then it's like, all right, well, everybody else that was been a pillar of whatever is like growing up and doing their own thing, and I'm still, look at me, guys, I'm Jungle Boy. And so he had to learn how to man up slowly and slowly. Now he's dealing with betrayal for the first time, and now he's got to defend his family's honor. He's learning this shit. Yeah. So it works.
Jungle Boy versus Christian. Jungle Boy is gonna win.
Yeah.
If anyone needs to win.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, would it hurt Jungle Boy if he lost? Depending on how he lost, not so much. But the way this has been going
if
down.
If he loses, it's because Luchasaurus betrays him, and then he's forced to be a single star now.
But the way this has been going down, this shit has got so personal with Christian, like, fucking, when I was there, which was dope. But Christian fucking getting in the face of his mom and sister and talk about y'all ain't shit. And then Christian fucking talk about your dad dead.
At the same
your
time,
dad.
Now that you mentioned that, Christian might win. Because AEW doesn't really care about people making fun of people's dead parents. Like the Brian Pillman thing.
Yeah, right. They never let him get any fucking, like, any get back on MJF for that. I still am like, are y'all serious? But I say Jungle Boy wins because this shit got too personal.
Well, so did. That's why I said the other shit got personal too.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
However, I think AEW likes Jungle Boy or Jungle Jack more than they like Brian Pillman Jr.
That's a good point. No, that's a good point. But I say I say he's gonna win too because this has been, like I was saying, in a sense, a coming out party, so to speak, for Jungle Boy, even more so.
No, I agree. I'm not arguing against him winning. I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. But because this is almost like Jungle Boy is in his last stage of being a cocoon, and then at the end of this match, he is going to finally turn into that butterfly, so to speak. Like he's almost like there.
Okay.
He's the last stage of caterpillar. He's in the cocoon. It's like now he'll be a butterfly. He just needs to win this match. Then his wings can spread and he's good. That's how I feel. Yeah. All right.
War TR versus Jay Lethal team.
Why the fuck Wardlow's not defending the TNT championship singles? Why in the fuck FTR is not going against Swerve in Our Glory? I don't know.
Because they want Swerve in Our Glory to keep the championship a bit longer so they don't keep losing repeatedly.
We got one more pay-per-view before the year is over. If FTR does not win the AEW Tag Team Championships before 2022 ends, what was the point of them winning every belt? I can understand not doing
because
it for
they
all out.
want to push other champions.
I can understand not doing it for all out, I guess. But I mean, the way 2022 has been going, do that shit before the year's over. Anyway,
they also let titles change hands on fucking Dynamite all the time too.
That's fine, as long as they win before the year's over.
Well, you're saying we only have one more chance after this. I'm like, they don't really. They treat every fucking Dynamite or Rampage as a chance to do something ridiculous.
This is facts. It's reminiscent of the Attitude Era in a sense, where the title would change hands like on any fucking given night, which I love. When companies like are like, it doesn't have to be pay-per-view. Oh shit, I love that. So no, you're right. But as long as FTR wins these titles before the year is over, I'll be a happy boy. Anyway, Wardlow, FTR versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns on loan from Impact. Wardlow and FTR are gonna win. Gonna be a good ass fucking match. Gonna be a good match.
WarTR wins free.
To be fair, I don't know MCMG that well. I know they exist, but I don't know them that well. But they're not just gonna randomly come in and beat three of like the most beloved wrestlers in the company right now. It's not gonna happen. Okay. For the AEW World Championship like contendership, we have Casino Ladder match. We got Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Penta El Zero Miedo, Rey Fenix, Roosh, Andrade El Idolo, Dante Martin, and a Joker. First off, who's the Joker? Any speculation?
I know we hate rumors, but especially if Punk's just going to squash Moxley in the main event anyway, the rumors that MJF might be said Joker, come back and win it, it would only make sense.
MJF is the big...
It would only make sense if he does so. That way he fights CM Punk, the so-called reason he quit in the first place, which also was a whole work, as we know.
Yeah. I think that obviously it could be anyone, and there could be people I'm not thinking of. But at the moment, who else is it besides MJF? Who else could it be? If it's like a surprise, obviously it could be a whole lot of
fucking Strowman.
Yo, that would be crazy. That would be crazy, Adam Scherr, in that case. But that would be fucking crazy. It's like it's speculated that Triple H is gonna bring him back, and then all of a sudden he fucking debuts.
Nigga,
on
if
AEW.
I hear maybe not Braun, but some other just
sure,
like I will lose my shit. I like Braun Strowman, but I also am not like a traditional wrestling fan. I'm more the Big E type. You can keep your 5-star matches. Yo, so. I can give me just the two big guys just running into each other.
The one thing I will say in this match though is we have like teams wrestling in a fucking free for all. Mm-hmm. We got Yuta and Castagnoli.
Yep.
We got the fucking Lucha Brothers. We got Roosh and Andrade. Like, what the fuck? What if the Joker was fucking Darius coming back to join Dante and complete that team? What the fuck? Like, you gotta say something fucked up.
Yep.
Oh Lord. Never mind. But no, like I said, obviously it could be anyone. It could be fucking anyone. Like, who's to say who it could be or not, right? But at the moment, whether rumored or not, who could you really think it could be besides MJF?
Yeah.
That being said, if I speculate in spite of the Joker.
Also, doesn't the Joker always win?
That's why I said if I speculate in spite of the Joker, because yes. But if I speculate in spite of the Joker, I'd say Castagnoli. Even though he has the Ring of Honor championship.
Yeah, they put a belt on him, so.
That's what I'm saying, because that's the first like major championship that he's won in any company apparently, which is crazy. But maybe they would let him win the major championship, or at least go for it. So if I speculate in spite of the Joker, I say Castagnoli.
Also, none of the people in that match have any beef with CM Punk.
Facts. I would have said the closest to it would be Yuta and Claudio, just because they're part of Moxley's crew.
But they also teamed with him a while back. Remember? Because they fought people that they had a common enemy. I don't think they teamed together. Because of the whole Eddie Kingston being pissed thing.
You're right. None of them really have too much issue with them, with him. But like I said, like if I speculate in spite of the Joker, I'm gonna say Claudio. If I speculate who the Joker is, I'm gonna say MJF. But whether I know who the Joker is or not, I'm gonna say the Joker.
Shut up!
Was your cat meowing?
Yes.
That's funny. I cannot hear it.
He's been meowing for a minute.
That's hilarious.
Jesus Christ.
That's hilarious. I cannot hear it. But no, so there you go. Who's the Joker? Probably MJF. In spite of the Joker, Claudio. If I speculate whether the Joker's MJF or not, the Joker's gonna win regardless.
Yeah, because the Joker never loses.
So who do you think is gonna win in spite of the Joker? Like if it was just the 7 dudes.
Claudio already has a belt. Wheeler already has a belt.
Yeah. Well, ROH too. Yeah.
Fucking. Who else is in there aside from the Lucha Brothers?
Andrade. Penta, Phoenix, Andrade, and Dante.
Andrade should probably of those. It should probably be Andrade, considering his fucking final boss ass entrance.
I'll give you that.
And the respect that he gets in universe, at least.
And he deserves to win a main title
or a belt of some form. You need to put a belt on that man.
Yes.
He has a champion's entrance. He needs to have a championship.
Yeah. Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaim. Why the fuck this isn't the Gun Club? I have no idea. Anyway, Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed. Swerve in Our Glory is gonna win. It's gonna be a great match.
In the all too rare face versus face match. Unless the Acclaim went back to being heels, because you were telling me a while ago that it looked like the Acclaims were being faces now, and I'm like, it's probably just a product of who they're fighting.
No, they're faces. They're faces. They've been faces.
Gotcha.
And what's his name? That's why I said, why is the Acclaim not? Because they've been building up a story of the Acclaim versus the Gun Club. They even had Billy Gunn. They even had like.
The Gun Club turned against
they turned on their own dad.
Yeah.
Like, why are we not having them wrestle each other at this fucking pay-per-view?
Because they ain't got the belts. Now, why you don't just, like, I'll go with you. Why not just have FTR fight Swerve in Our Glory? Who fucking knows? And have the Acclaim fight the Gun Club. But now we got FTR going against Jay Lethal because they really want you to care about Jay Lethal and Ring of Honor, which I really don't.
I care about. I like the Satnam Singh, Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal like little crew.
I didn't watch enough TNA. I
didn't watch enough TNA either,
for that matter. I know Jay Lethal does a mean Ric Flair impersonation. I know that much out of him.
And even like crazier Macho Man,
Yeah.
But no, I like
one of the best promos ever. Flair versus Flair.
It was amazing. I like Jay Lethal from what I've seen, and I definitely heard about him up to a point, but. From what they're doing with Satnam Singh, Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, I am enjoying it. Okay. So, but yeah, the way that they even had the Gun Club turn on their own father and the whole back and forth of the Acclaim with the Gun Club, and then they break off from them and the Acclaim went full face, and the Gun Club turned on their dad and went full heel.
That said, who said they're not still working on that?
No, I
Who's to say
agree.
Gun Club doesn't cost the Acclaim the belt because fuck a fucking Acclaim.
Good point. Good point. I just think that we could have had,
But then but I don't know. Like I said, I think they did all this to force a reason for Jay Lethal to be on the fucking roster, on the pay-per-view card. And
I get that.
And they were like, Gun Club versus Acclaimed is not all-out material.
And
You can't have Swerve in Our Glory not be on that.
Well, I was gonna say, and of course, they probably didn't want Swerve in Our Glory to lose the belt so quickly. And like you said, if they went against FTR, it would have made sense for FTR to win that match.
Mm-hmm.
But I say, speaking of who makes sense for them to win this match, Swerve in Our Glory is gonna win this match.
Yes.
The only thing I don't like about Swerve in Our Glory is the name. It's growing on me. It's growing on me.
I'll agree.
Not the
That
biggest
needs to
fan.
be that's a slogan, not a team name. Like the Viking Experience. That's a finisher name, not a team name.
Speaking of storylines that are culminating at this pay-per-view, Starks versus Hobbs. This is good shit.
I'm gonna give it to Ricky.
I was thinking that too. Because Hobbs has like somewhat been looking bad and lost here and there, but it's not hurting him.
He's one
Ricky
of those
is
dudes.
being-
Oh no, he lost to somebody. Oh, he's a total pushover. And then you open your eyes and you look at him and like, no, he's not.
He's an angry, huge man. Like, huge as shit and mad as fuck. Like, no, he ain't no pushover.
They don't call him Champion Hobbs. They call him Powerhouse Hobbs. And no matter how much he loses, he's got that power behind him. You should probably not fuck with him.
And Ricky is like becoming more and more of like a face. So to help him shoot him into super facedom,
Yeah.
let him win.
Exactly.
Like I said, the only thing that I don't like about Starks versus Hobbs is, and this is not a big, but it's just me being funny, but the only thing I don't like about this is, at one point, I wanted them to win the damn titles. That's the only thing with that. Mm-hmm. That ain't no big deal, obviously. I'm just like, damn.
They had a
'cause now I'm
title.
never-
They had the FTW title for like
No,
2
but I mean,
years.
I wanted them to win the.
Actually,
the,
he might be the longest singles champion.
because the FTW.
Yeah.
That's funny. But I wanted them at one point to win the tag titles, and that's not gonna happen. But that's not a big deal.
At least we got another team that did it. Yeah.
The Elite, Omega and the Bucks
Versus the losers.
versus. Oh shit! Versus the Dark Order. Whoever wins from the because we're, like I said, recording before Rampage. So
The
versus
Dark Order or Best Friends.
yeah, Best Friends and Orange Cassidy and Silver and Reynolds, and they replaced 10 with Paige, which is cool. They replaced 10 with Paige, but yeah.
Baby.
So basically, the Dark Order, or like you said, Best Friends. Who do I think is going to win out of the Dark Order and Best Friends? I think that, again, Steven Larson made a good point. Or not Adam. Brian Zane made a good point, Wrestling with Regret, shout out to him, where he was like, you might have Adam Page and Dark Order win, so then it's like
It's all elite.
It's conflicting of like who the Bucks are gonna pick, and it's a whole all elite thing and all that shit. Yeah,
That's what's gonna happen.
but Kenny Omega is not gonna come back for the first trios championships and not win them.
The elite is not gonna lose this title. The elite in all elite wrestling is not gonna win the first ever factions championship. Like,
That's not gonna not happen.
like that's just what's happening.
It's like
Also,
you
it's
just
the
said.
Dark fucking Order. What?
It's like you just said, where you was like, we don't know who it is yet, but the elite versus the losers. I hate to put it that way, but
The best friends? The Dark Order? You want to talk about teams whose names don't carry any fucking weight?
I love all all the guys that we naming and talking about, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about, like you were saying, in terms of portrayal. The Dark Order only has weight to their name because they ally themselves with Adam Page, baby, who is part of the Elite. The fucking Best Friends only have weight to their name because they're with Orange Cassidy. And people just like Orange Cassidy. No,
if it was more single shit, then you can make a claim for Cassidy, you can make a claim for Page. But if it's collective,
like both teams are joke teams, and the Elite are literally called the Elite. I mean,
and if what's his name, if 10 really did get injured, then that means that this was originally supposed to be Silver, Reynolds, and number 10, which is more of a claim that they weren't gonna win that shit.
Yeah.
So,
and fucking. You have the best bout machine, quote unquote, / okay, sure, whatever. But that's what Kenny Omega calls himself because he gets all those 5-star matches. It's literally in, like, his theme song. And a team that also calls themselves the best tag team in the fucking world versus one of two joke teams.
I mean, the first 2-time tag team champions in AEW shit. So.
And if you want
the second reign,
and if you want the most star power in the match, do you pick the team as far as who their opponent's going to be? Do you pick the team that has 2 joke characters and a popular joke character that's never won anything, or a team that's 2 joke characters and one of your 5 people to win the championship in the history of your company?
Yeah, no, that's facts. Right. But at the end of the day, whoever wins on Rampage. The Elite just yeah. Omega and the Bucks are gonna win.
Yeah. It's their company.
Speaking of people to be the first 2-time champion, take the interim off. Moxley is no longer he is the official first 2-time AEW champion. Mm-hmm. But Moxley versus Punk, who's gonna walk out? Now, will Punk turn heel whether he wins or not?
Not in Chicago.
Speculated. Who's to say? Hard to call. Blah, blah, blah. Is Moxley going to win this?
No.
I hate to say that if the rumor is true that Moxley pitched, let me at least win this shit because I know I'm going to lose. I can believe it because I don't think Moxley's going to win.
I ain't never even heard that rumor, and I don't want to have it saying that I'm making my decision because of that. No, Moxley's losing because it's Punk in Chicago, and whether or not Moxley pitched that thing, clearly the entire AEW fan base was pissed that Moxley beat Punk a few weeks ago. So AEW, they're all about making their fans happy, and it's Punk in Chicago. Punk's winning. Free.
I'm not gonna say I'm making my decision just off the rumor. I'm just saying if it's true, I get it. I'm basing it off of the fact that it's CM Punk, and even more so, it's CM Punk. It's CM Punk. Then it's CM Punk returning from injury with a championship that he didn't really get to do shit with, and it's CM Punk returning from injury with a championship that he didn't really get to do shit with in fucking Chicago.
He's the biggest draw in the company.
What is there to say?
Yeah, if they want to keep beating WWE in the ratings, regardless of who WWE throws at them, they need Punk with that belt.
That's why part of me is wondering, will Punk ever really turn heel, or at least it might be a while, whether Chicago or not, just because.
Yeah, if he doesn't.
He's such a huge draw and such a huge name that do they really want him to turn heel? Because
you can be a draw as a heel.
You can be a draw as a heel. No, that's true. But I'm just saying
literally what Roman Reigns has done the past 2 years.
This is facts. But you get what I'm saying. That they might be apprehensive about it because of that. That's what I mean.
I say that's Bork as well. He fucking always is a heel when he's the main draw. Bork Laser, man.
Took me a minute to realize.
That's Bork Laser.
You saying that dumbass shit. Anyway, CM Punk gonna win. It's gonna be an amazing match. It's gonna be blood every goddamn where. People gonna motherfucking almost die because it's gonna look like, you know, somebody might actually bring out a goddamn prison shank and stab somebody up in this match.
All right, so we both agree Punk's gonna win. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna say over under 5 minutes before one of them's bleeding. What you got?
we can also bet how long it takes for somebody to bleed. Oh shit. Oh, okay. What's so funny is, are you saying you're saying 5 minutes or less?
First off, what's a good number for that? I said 5 minutes, but what would be a good number to bet over and under on for one of those two motherfuckers bleeding? Because they both seem to like to do that in all their matches now.
Especially Moxley. I mean, 5 minutes is good. 5 minutes or less.
Because AEW does have some long ass matches sometimes.
I believe this match is not going to be less than 20 minutes.
All right. So with that in mind, is 5 a good number? You think someone can handle bleeding that hard for 15 minutes?
That's a good point. But yes.
Okay, so 5 still the number. Over under 5 minutes before someone's busted open.
I would give him a little bit longer than 5, but I wouldn't be surprised because of the fact that it's fucking Moxley that it might happen like, oh, Punk
Well, that's why I
randomly
was like, should we make 5 the over under, or should we make it something slightly more realistic of a bet for over under?
What, you think at 10?
You can say 10. That's why I'm asking you what number you want to put it at.
I think, I don't know.
What would be a fair number? Let's say, fine, let's split the difference and say 7. Over under 7 minutes.
I say give him a little more than 7.
You say over before somebody's bleeding?
Yeah.
All right. I say under 7
I knew you.
minutes. I'll go the opposite, just for fun.
That's funny. The fact that you were like, we're actually gonna predict how long it takes for them to bleed. That's hilarious. Now I'll say this though: if this match ends and no one's bleeding, I'll be shocked.
Yeah. Well, and you'd still win because you had the over.
Oh, okay. Technicality, but okay. Now you could say whether MJF is the Joker or not. MJF could just return randomly in this motherfucking match and just cost Punk the shit too.
Also true. Also true. By the way, speaking of people that are next in line to be champions, another reason why I don't think Punk Roman is as indicative of Triple H era is because Cross is next in line to fight whoever wins, who is a Hunter person. So if Hunter wants to give the Roman defeat to one of his boys, he would just let Roman hold the title longer and buff up Cross that much heavier by him being the guy to end Roman. I did like, apparently Drew was talking to Karrion Kross. He's like, by the way, hourglasses don't go tick-tock, you dumbass. Because this whole thing is tick-tock, time's up, as Scarlett puts an hourglass down and flips it over. He's like, I don't know if you realize this, but hourglasses don't go tick-tock, you dumbass.
That's funny. What was I gonna say? But so those are the predictions. Obviously we were recording this, like I said before. We were recording this on the Friday before All Out, before Rampage even happens. We're not going to do the typical who's going to be the next to win this, because obviously we did that.
We literally just did that with the predictions.
Exactly. So that little like who's the next, there's no point in doing that shit. But man, at the end of the day, there you go. You got Clash of the Castle, you got All Out, you got our feelings of how we feel about the state of the wrestling world within the previous month. And going forward, if you would like to follow us on our socials, then you can go ahead and look me up. I go by the name of Super Jazz from time to time when I rap. So go ahead and look me up. That's spelled SUPERJAZ. Anywhere you stream your music, you can go ahead and look that up. And also look for my debut album that I dropped about a year ago by the name of My Secret Identity. You might have to put in Super Jazz, My Secret Identity, because I'm not so famous yet. Also, if you want to go ahead and find me on Twitter, you can look me up under the handle Super Jazz 2, which would be Super Jazz number 2. And of course, find it.
Sorry, I'll keep going.
Oh, and of course, find and follow me on Instagram under the name Forever Super Jazz, the word forever spelled correctly. What's good, man?
Oh, well, y'all know where y'all can find me. You can find me here every week, every Wednesday on the Whatever We Want podcast, and clearly the first Sunday of every month talking about wrestling. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube under Feo Grande. That is Feo Grande. I got lots of stuff going on that channel, mainly like other long-form videos with me talking to friends and stuff. A lot of videos with him, including Dragon Ball movie reviews and stuff. I got stuff called This Guy Hasn't Seen, where I review other stuff that's not Dragon Ball related with a great friend of mine, Bill Smith. I also have a Twitter and Twitch that's Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. October's coming up soon, and I'll be playing through all the God of War games, getting ready for Ragnarok, so that'll be fun. In the meantime, I'm playing other shit. Like right now, I'm playing Miles Morales, which is fun.
Okay. And of course, every Wednesday, I think you said this, but if you didn't, every Wednesday.
Every week, every Wednesday with the Whatever We Want podcast.
You just said that shit. I thought you just said that shit. I'm tripping. Anyway, but no. All that being said, man, these are just opinions from two people who've been lifelong friends, and in typical wrestling fashion, we just speculating and having fun. So don't take none of this shit too seriously. And engage in the discussion with us. Let's just get a discourse going. Try to keep it civil, because at the end of the day, it's all entertainment, and we just having a good time giving our views on said entertainment. And I've gotten to that point now where, I'm gonna have to ask you, if you want to watch our shit, hit the notification bell. All that being said,
and subscribe.
We love y'all. Huh?
And subscribe.
Well,
if we're gonna tell them to hit the bell, we might as well tell them to subscribe too.
Yeah, I just hate asking motherfuckers to subscribe, but that's a good point. That's a good point. But that being said, we love y'all and peace.
Adiosness.
Be nice to yourself, everybody.